Doing good and hope you're all doing well. It's time for another episode of Speedruns From the Crypt, your bi-weekly horror hotfix. I'm your host, Dices, and I have a lot of fun to tell you today with the game that we have. Before we get into that, though, I do just want to let you know about some of the various GDQ events coming up, because we do have a few of them. First off, we do have GDQ's all women and femme speedrunning events, Flame Fatales, coming August 18th to the 25th, and use !FF in Twitch chat to find out more information about that. They also have PAX West. We're going to be there, going from August 30th to September 2nd, and that schedule is out now. You can use !PAX in Twitch to have more information on that as well. Lastly, we have another event coming in around, I think, September. That's going to be September 20th through the 22nd, and that will be GDQ Express. And I'll be going to TwitchCon. Submissions actually end today in about maybe just a few hours from now. I think about like 4. So if you want to get on that, if you want to be a part of the one of the GDQ events potentially, that is an option. And you use !GDQX in chat to find out more information. Alrighty, so we only have one game for you today. However, this is a personal favorite, and we've had it on the show a few times. However, every time we put on this game, I do like changing it up a little bit. We've seen various difficulties about this. We've seen no keys, we've seen Akumu in general, we've seen regular runs, but I bet you've never seen a wildly glitchy run of this. The Evil Within has adapted quite a lot, and we're going to see just kind of how broken this game can get. We will be reducing the combat a little bit because we will have new Game Plus options, but I assure you we're going to be seeing some stuff with this game that you probably have never seen before. Anyway, to help us out with this, we're going to be having the Evil Within New Game Plus PC Casual with Sharkat87. Take it away.
All right, hi everyone. Yeah, I'm Sharkat87, and yeah, we're going to be running Evil Within, doing some cool out of bounds and showing you all the new tricks that have come into this run in the past few years. Meta, you want to introduce yourself as well?
Yeah, sure. My name is Meta. I'm traditionally more of a FPS and movement speedrunner, but Sharkat got interested and started writing this game, and it caught my interest, and so I started as well. And yeah, here we are.
All right, great. Well, we'll just go ahead and jump into it. So yeah, we are doing New Game Plus. Time is going to start once we skip the first cutscene here. So I'm going to go ahead and select my save file. Select chapter 1 and select difficulty, and I'll give a countdown here in just a second. So time is going to start in about 3, 2, 1, go. There we go. Okay.
Good luck.
All right, thank you. Yes, so this is the Evil Within New Game Plus, any percent on casual difficulty. We choose casual just because it's the fastest, especially for NG Plus. A lot of our weapons are pretty beefy. So the focus here is a little bit more on the out of bounds routing, the tricks, just getting through the game as quick as possible. So yeah, this is chapter 1 out of 15. Lots of levels in this game. You might notice the estimate is, this game's pretty long, but don't let that fool you because there are a lot of tricks in this run, like we alluded to. So I guess we can talk about that a little bit here at the beginning. So the big discovery is this game has zips. You may have seen other games that also have zips. It's a little bit different in every game, but the basic idea is that we have the ability to launch the main character very far into the air and horizontally as well. So we have a lot of options for getting through levels very, very quickly. So basically the way it works is anytime there's some sort of overlap of collision, usually where you can gain some height, like climbing up a ledge, if you uncrouch while you're climbing up the ledge, you'll get launched. And so there's lots of factors that affect the exact type of launch you get, how high you go, how fast. It's partially FPS, so we're actually going to be swapping the FPS a little bit through the run. We're going to play most of the game at 60 FPS. But there's a few moments we'll switch to, 30, 90, 120, something like that, just because it affects the speed, and the particular setup that I've opted to go for, might work better at, 30, 60, whatever. There's also the weapon wheel. So that's, usually you would use that to, switch weapons or pull out, med packs or things like that. When you do that, it slows down time in the game. And if you do that while you're getting a zip, while you're building up that speed, the slow-mo actually helps you capture even more speed. So depending on the timing of when you open the weapon wheel, you can get a much larger launch than you would normally. So you'll see some zips where we don't use the weapon wheel, a lot where we do. just keep in mind they're very precise. They take a lot of practice. And yeah, there's a lot of factors that affect them. Your positioning, your angle, the timing of the inputs, and all that stuff. But yeah, I guess we should talk a little bit about the beginning of the game here. So we're introduced to the sadist, the first enemy here. And the first thing we're going to be doing once we actually get control on the ground is I'm going to be mashing crouch as fast as possible, and that's going to help us move a little bit quicker. It's going to look a little bit scary because we're going to get very close to the enemy here, but we're going to try to do it without him seeing us. If we go too fast, he can see you, so we got to be a little careful, but it's a little bit less scary than it looks. I also want to just throw out a general content warning for this game. This game has a lot of blood, especially towards the beginning and the very end. But just keep that in mind. There's a good amount of violence and blood, lots of blood in this game. So I would say, yeah, I would say that's probably the main content warning. Yeah. Also, you'll see some prompts popping up on controller and keyboard here, and that's because I'm actually going to be switching in between both. For here, for example, I find it a bit easier to spam the stick. You can do the entire run on one or the other. It's honestly kind of personal preference. Even with the zips, there's some that I find to be a lot easier on controller, some easier on keyboard. We'll get into more of that later, but just keep in mind, you'll see some people that run only on keyboard, some only on controller, and some people like me that run on a little bit of both. We can sneak by this guy. See, he doesn't even see us. It's totally fine. Don't even worry about it here.
Yeah, I think when I was running, it was probably like 50-50. Anything that was particularly combat heavy, I preferred keyboard and mouse for obvious reasons.
Same, yeah.
But I think for every single zip that I had routed in the run, I preferred controller. And that just boils down to analog versus like digital inputs. Yeah, like with keyboard and mouse, because you have to like kind of flick back and forth. It's instant with keyboard, whereas it's more gradual with a controller, and that matters a lot for zips. So
yeah, so it's interesting. So and you'll be able to see it more. It'll make more sense. But yeah, part of the inputs is moving backwards and then immediately moving back forwards. And like Meta said, the input is pretty instant with keyboard, whereas with the stick, so there's pros and cons, right? So with the stick, you have a little bit more control with how fast you flick it, what exact angle you flick, because you're not going to flick the exact same angle every single time. If you try to go forward, you might be a little bit left, a little bit right, and that will affect the zip that you get. So, with keyboard, it's kind of nice on some because you can control, if you're not moving the camera, you're always going to be moving forward and backwards exactly with the same angle. So sometimes I'm going to use keyboard because I find them to be a little more consistent for me. But sometimes on controller, it's kind of nice because, maybe flicking up and right a little bit makes it a little more consistent, whereas on keyboard you can't really do that. So yeah, that's part of the reason we're going to be switching a little bit. Now we need to actually get we're not going to see any real zips until chapter 2. We actually did get some very tiny ones by mashing crouch going up the staircase. If it almost looked like he was teleporting up a little bit, that was a very small zip, but we're going to do some much bigger ones. This chapter does have one small skip in it. We do kind of have to hobble forward and climb a long ladder before we get there. But yeah, we'll explain that when we get there.
Chapter 1 is a little bit rough. Chuck
Yeah.
and I have both, and Amma Wolf. Shout out to Amma Wolf, by the way, for
Yes.
being like the Kickstarter of routing this game, like starting the out of bounds revolution for this game.
Yeah.
He found zips. He found like all kinds of stuff. But anyways, like I think we've all kind of sat down and tried to lab chapter 1 to little success.
Yeah.
The most unfortunate part is that the very end of the chapter is actually loaded at the same time as the start of the chapter, which is not always the case in the Evil Within chapters. But unfortunately, it's just like textures and collision. There's no triggers loaded. So it's basically useless. Also, the end of the game is like to the left, but it's not loaded.
Exactly. Yeah, and that's the main limiting factor. You'll see there's some levels where we could pretty much literally zip from the very beginning to the very end and beat it instantly, but it doesn't actually work like that because without hitting the right flags and triggers and checkpoints and all these load triggers and things, the game doesn't actually load properly. So it's kind of cool route-wise, you know, it's almost like trying to put together a puzzle, you know, okay, so we need to hit these 5 points in the level. So what's the fastest way to get to all of those and then get to the end, you know? So it is actually kind of interesting. You know, it does make the run a little longer, but it gives us more to think about in the run instead of just, I'm going to launch to the end right away, you know?
Yeah, in particular, I mean, I don't know if this is like going to mean anything to the audience right now, but if you are familiar with the game, like chapters 10 and 11, those are like really interesting kind of like point to point where you have to hit like a few specific spots. Chapter 7 is also really interesting in a completely different way. So yeah, make sure you stay tuned.
Oh yeah. Okay, so here's the first skip of the run. So we're going to enter this locker very late on purpose, and that's actually going to give us the prompt to be able to leave the locker, which normally you would not get. So I'm waiting for an audio cue there. Okay, we should be good. So we're going to wait for the sadist to come into the right and then walk to the left. And once he gets far enough to the left, he's going to hit a trigger that'll let us advance. And then I'm going to step out. And hopefully he will fly at us really fast. Sometimes he kind of walks over slow. We'll see what he does. I think it's based on your timing here. But ideally, he's going to fly over here and the door is going to disappear. He's taking his time. That's okay.
It's so scary.
There we go. Okay, so hitting the checkpoint despawns him, so we're fine. Don't worry. There he is again. So
nice.
Yeah, so there he is. We just have to get past him here. Again, we're on casual, so it's not as scary here. Obviously, on a Kumu, you know, you die in one hit, so you couldn't quite do this. He's a bit faster as well. But yeah, on casual, we can kind of just sneak past him with the right movement here.
He's trying his best, okay?
He is, yeah. Yeah, and you know, on harder difficulties, I know, so I'm gonna do this at 60 FPS and we'll be okay. But I believe the enemies are affected by the FPS, and I think on harder difficulties, he actually can just catch up to you here. So a lot of times people will switch to 30 here, just to make sure they don't die. He can't catch up.
Yeah, especially on a Kumu and stuff, like the FPS moves are kind of ridiculous.
Yeah. So we actually are going to get a cutscene here. We were actually talking about this before meta. So well, we won't really get into it, but there's a few different categories and leaderboards for this game. And for some of them, you're allowed to delete the movie files. It's actually kind of like if anyone's seen Dead Space 1, we delete the rig videos, and wherever they're supposed to play, they just get skipped. I was doing some runs earlier where I actually had them in, so I still have them in now. It's not a big deal. This is the only one that's really long. This one is a little under a minute. The other ones are very short. It's like a pretty minimal impact on the run. I remembered it while we were in chapter 1. I thought about maybe deleting them, but it's fine. It's not a big deal.
Yeah.
And in the past example in Dead Space 1, it saves way more time, like minutes and minutes. This is like the only real like big one.
I remember making like a big stink about it because I really wanted to delete this cutscene. And I was like, oh my god, dude, it's like over 2 minutes. Like, I don't want to be just sitting there at the start of every run. And Emma Wolf was just like, dude, it's like 52 seconds. It's not that bad.
Yeah.
But when you're sitting there, it's like, oh my god.
It feels, I think it feels longer than it is because chapter 1 itself is kind of long.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is funny. I thought about that. I was like, oh, should I just go delete them real quick? And then I was like, nah, it's not worth it. It's fine. Yeah. The only thing that happens there that's different is when it goes to cut to that instead. Also, the camera's always really weird here. I don't know why. It just does that. Yeah, I thought about going and deleting them, but that's really only the big one. There's like a couple small ones that would maybe save us like a few seconds if we deleted them, but it's fine. Also, it honestly would probably have taken me more time to go delete them than to just watch them. So.
Yeah. If you actually delete every single movie file, because movie files are used for things other than cutscenes as in this game, some pretty funny effects can happen. Like oftentimes when you see a mirror in like a real-time cutscene or something like that, the mirror is actually just a video playing. And so you can replace the video with something else entirely or just have it black. It's pretty funny.
Yeah, there's a part in later in the game where there's a photograph that gets animated, and that's also a movie file, so it just displays as like a blank portrait. Yeah. Yeah. So we're in chapter 2 now. This is the safe haven, normally where you would go to do your upgrades. Again, we're playing on New Game Plus, so we're playing with everything maxed out from the start. So we are not going to be using the upgrade share to actually do upgrades. You have to interact with it once here. This is basically the tutorial for how to use the safe area. So we have to interact with the save here, and then we also have to interact with the seat over there before it'll let us progress here. So I'm just gonna wait for
and
the
sometimes
prompt to show up.
during like forced slow walking sections, you can either aim down sight or swing your pistol like a melee thing, and that'll get you walking faster.
Oh yeah. So we talked about the mash and crouch is fast. When you have the option to punch or melee, same thing. That's always faster than like normal walking or mash and crouch. Obviously, sprinting is the fastest form of movement. I guess besides zips, but just normal movement on the ground. Sprinting is the fastest. Punching is a little bit slower, and then walking is the slowest.
Dude, if we could just zip everywhere like pulse boosting in DS1 or something like that, that would be amazing.
It would be.
It would be like under 2 hours.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy that with the Dead Space 1 comparisons, Dead Space 1 has a similar glitch called pulse boosting where you can launch your character across the level. The zips in this game remind me of that a lot with how kind of precise they are, and just based on like the angle, the position, like the timing of the inputs exactly, the FPS. It's all like very. I mean, it works very differently, but it kind of reminds me of that. Okay, so now we actually have all of our gear. Normally, we would not be picking up a pistol until this cutscene coming up very shortly, but you can see we already have it, and we already have all of our other stuff here. Another piece of movement tech here is you see we have stamina. We do not want to run out of stamina. It's really bad if you deplete the meter because Sebastian kind of just falls over and stands still for a few seconds. So what you'll see me do is when our stamina gets low, I'm going to free aim, and that'll let us just move a little quicker, refill our stamina. Or move a little quicker while we're refilling our stamina, I mean. Free aim has some other cool speed tech purposes, but we'll see that a little bit later once we get to some water sections. We just got to watch a couple cutscenes here with some of these characters, and then we'll actually be off to our first zip, so you can see kind of what that's all about, what we've been talking about so far here.
Yeah, unfortunately, like this cutscene is skippable, but the cutscene itself is actually a trigger that loads some important stuff later in the map. So
yeah,
we cannot skip it. Like we literally cannot.
Yeah. And now we did give a shout out to Amalwolf earlier. I want to do that again, actually. So he has a segmented run. And so these tricks actually did not get into single segment until basically this year, or maybe late last year. But before that, there is a segmented run that Amalwolf did, just kind of showcasing, all of these new tricks and how much faster the run can be. It's a 159 in-game time. So for this game, very, very, very fast. So highly recommend checking that out. He's working on a version 2 that could potentially be almost 10 minutes faster, he said. So I'm very excited to see that as well.
I'm excited too.
With some more optimization, some new skips and things. So, and yes, to answer a question, yeah, this is max stamina, yeah.
For the first segmented, like for the existing segmented run, I know there are some zips and some skips that Amalwolf did that he attempted like 500 or like 1,000 times before getting it just once. So yeah, this game has a very high skill ceiling, and I'm excited to see where it goes in like the coming years, especially if it gets some more attention. It has not reached its potential yet.
Yeah, it's at the kind of the beginning of a new era, I think. So I am going to do my best to show off as many zips as possible. I've been working on trying to get setups for some to show off as many as I can, but just keep in mind that it can get way crazier than what we're going to do here. So I'm actually going to grab this checkpoint here. We do have to watch a short little cutscene, but this will make this a little bit safer because we would have to go all the way back, I think, to where we got the lantern if we have to reload a checkpoint here. It's really bad. So if you're going for PB attempts, if you miss this, you just reset. You just do chapter 1 again. But I want to play this a little bit safer, just in case. I've been pretty consistent at it, not to jinx myself or anything. But so yeah, we're gonna set up our first zip here. No weapon wheel required. So I'm gonna get my angle, and we're just gonna uncrouch on that wheel there, and there we go. Yep, this looks good.
That's pretty good.
Right over the gate. Nice. Okay, that was actually really good. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
so,
I usually just go like before the gate. That was beautiful.
There we go. Nice. So we do have to hit this checkpoint to load the end of the level. And there we go. So yeah, that hopefully that gives you an idea of what's to come for the rest of this run.
Good God.
So we will do a lot later, like I said, with the weapon wheel that gives you even more speed. That particular one, we don't need it.
And yeah, like when labbing or trying to find setups and stuff like that, it's important to note that you can control the angle. Like you can basically optimize for either height or distance by either sharpening or flattening your angle, like looking at sort of the object that you're zipping off of. So yeah, we can either get a lot of height if that's important, or we can get a lot of distance.
Yeah,
or, you know, anywhere in between.
Exactly. And there we want a ton of distance because we want to get all the way over a gate there. If I landed before the gate, that would have been like okay, but the main time save is skipping having to crank the gate to open it.
Yeah, for sure.
And as an example of talking about the segmented run, there is actually a zip you can do off this rope here on my left to get straight to the next checkpoint. But again, you know,
that one's a little rough.
It's a bit rough.
If you miss it, you have to swim again.
Yeah, you got to watch that whole cutscene at the start there again.
Yeah.
Fortunately, a lot of the ones we're going for do have checkpoints before them, but yeah, not all of them.
And the zip literally brings you right here. Like it's not a big deal.
Yeah, there's a lot too that don't save a ton of time, and it's, you know, if you miss it, it's very punishing. So we got to keep that in mind. Okay, so we're gonna skip most of chapter 3 here. What were you saying?
Yeah, this is probably my favorite route. I'll let you explain it though.
Okay, so we have to kill 3 enemies for this checkpoint to activate. So I was doing that first, and then we're actually gonna do a damage boost with the rocket launcher, just like. Oh, I don't have enough health. Ooh. Oh, okay. I should heal first. All right. Yeah. Okay. There you go.
You could do the zip version as well.
I could do that.
There's two different versions. Oh, do you have to go back to the start?
No. It's right here.
Oh, it's at. Oh,
so it's throwing me off. Like I said, again, there's a couple different ways to run this with some different timing methods. So usually, I've been a little bit back and forth running both the past week. So yeah, I should have healed first. There, I thought I had enough health for that. There we go. Okay, so
nice.
we blasted ourselves backwards with the rocket launcher. Had enough health that time. We're good. Again, you have to kill 3 enemies before that checkpoint activates. But there we go. Okay.
So yeah, that skips 2 houses and a cutscene, I think.
Yeah, it skips a good chunk, and we're gonna just kill the sadist here by blasting the wall down. 2 magnum shots and an incendiary bolt should kill him. There we go.
Yeah, if you don't do that like middle area where you kill the 3 enemies and you do the checkpoint stuff, you can kill the sadist, but the floor isn't there, so he actually falls down to the bottom of the level.
Yeah.
You can't pick up this chainsaw item.
Yeah, which
you need to end the level.
This level is a great showcase of, you know, some of the things that are possible with some of the skips, but also kind of how it works with hitting certain triggers, because it's pretty short, but you can see there's still a couple specific things we need to do. But with the glitches we have at our disposal, we're pretty much just cutting it down to the bare minimum. You know, we got to hit the cutscene going through that one door.
This is really,
you know, oh yeah, so the gate is normally supposed to have gone up here, and then during this cutscene it kind of alternates closing and opening and stuff, but since we skipped that, it's gonna start closed, we're gonna walk through it, it's gonna open, and then at the end of the next level it's then gonna shut behind us like it's supposed to. But yeah, I always love that too, it looks very funny.
Oh man. Chapter 4, this one's, this one has a really interesting segment. Oh wait, no, sorry. Never mind. I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm thinking of 5, I think.
Oh, maybe. Yeah. So this level at the very beginning, we have a slowed movement. We cannot sprint. So again, we're going to be punching. Just a little bit faster. The game does intend for you to go into this building on the left here, but you don't actually have to do that. So we are going to skip it, and we're going to go straight to where we're going to progress here. We're also going to take a little bit of a shortcut. You don't have to enter the house the main way. We're just actually going to shoot out this window and run in this way. The only real like glitch we're going to do if you want to call it that, in this level, is there is an enemy that's going to spawn in this hallway that we're normally supposed to kill after this cutscene here, but I'm just going to lay an explosive bolt here, and it'll just kill him on spawn. Okay, he picked it up. That's not what I wanted to do. Okay. All right, same input to pick it up and also open the door. So yeah, there we go. Okay, so you can see the cutscene kind of bugs out here a little bit with the camera.
And you can hear the explosive bolt just go off as soon as the enemy spawns.
Yeah.
I think that's unlikely.
So yeah, the two cutscenes are basically overlapping there, or like the camera controls from the cutscenes. I don't know exactly, but
Can't get away.
it gets a little funky for sure.
Yeah, I haven't watched the cutscene normally in a while, so I forget if that's like, because it almost seems intentional. Where I think something's coming. I think that's unlikely.
Who the hell are you? No.
Oh yeah, so this is the main villain, Ruvik. I guess we should probably explain the main story at some point. It's a little convoluted.
I don't even understand it, so you go ahead.
Yeah, you know, I won't go into too much detail. You know, if you haven't played this game before, I definitely recommend just going and playing it. But basically, you can think of it as, and I'm not going to go into too much detail because I don't want to get it wrong, but you know, they're in this collective consciousness sort of, you know, machine, almost kind of like the Matrix, not really. But so they're not really in the real world for most of the game, so it kind of explains all this weird stuff that goes on of like everything shifting around and you know, all the monsters and everything. So for this room, we just have to clear all the enemies. So we are going to use some incendiary bolts. They're super broken, and we're going to try to pick off any stragglers here because they tend. That guy's going to blow up. That's all of them? Oh, there's one more. Okay, nice.
Nice.
Yeah, they don't always do the exact same thing there, so we usually just put the two bolts down and then just kind of react to where they go, trying to get headshots if we can. Some slowed movement again, so we're just going to punch a few times here. We're going to see another boss here that shows up a few times, Laura. Here, it's a little bit faster to just make her despawn, which you can do by dealing enough damage. So 2 magnum shots is enough to do that. This just avoids her respawning more here and chasing us. And we're actually almost at the end of chapter 4. Another not super long level here. Fortunately, we can skip these ladders as well, which is nice. We're just going to shoot these traps as well. And take a little elevator ride here. Just gonna reload while we can here. I do need to craft some more bolts at some point, but I'm gonna try to do it when I have more to craft at once, or when I more immediately need them, which will probably be the next level, which has a big fight where we need a lot of ammo for stuff. And yeah, so the rest of the chapter is pretty straightforward. We're just gonna run down this hallway, run into the door, and then we got to run down the stairs to trigger Ruvik to show up. And from there, it's just a short little auto-scroller for the rest of the level.
I can't believe it.
I am going to pick up that ammo. It is worth noting we do not have infinite ammo. So while it is New Game Plus and we do start with a lot of equipment, I am still going to be picking up some ammo here and there. We are starting with enough scrap to craft as many bolts as we need, so we don't need to worry about that. It's mostly just pistol ammo and... Well, I mean, I guess that is really it.
I really struggled with the Magnum ammo. Especially in my first like couple runs. I ran out and I was like, oh no.
Yeah.
Before boss in 13, I think, in the garage.
Oh, I think it's Quell is the name. The one where you freeze him and then hit him with the Magnum or whatever. Yeah, because we have enough Magnum shots to get through. And I have a decent amount of practice, but I usually try to play a little conservatively with that because I don't want to run out for the very end. Again, fortunately, it is New Game Plus, so we do have pretty strong weapons. So something like that were to happen, we'd probably be okay. But you know, we want to try to avoid that if possible. And there are some extra Magnum ammo drops we can pick up if we really need them. I might pick up one just in case. Speaking of the Magnum, we're actually going to use that really quick here. So if we run immediately here, I believe the way this works is the hitbox of the enemy is here, but not the model, and we can actually just shoot him right away because this hitbox is still there. You can do a sneak kill on him as well, but it's a little faster just to snipe him there. You'll also see that we can punch to kind of skip the animation of jumping down there. So I'm going to try to time that on a lot of ledges. It can be a little bit faster.
In the segmented run here, and I don't know, hopefully eventually in full runs, back in that main room there, you're able to zip off of a chair, and then there's actually no roof. Like, the roof doesn't have any collision, so you can get out of bounds right in that main room and skip this key card. The problem is no one has been able to find a way to get back inbounds yet, I think.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's a trigger problem.
I think it's
Either
inbounds,
way,
yeah.
like we haven't been able to properly lab that key card skip yet, but maybe one day.
Yeah.
This room here, there's just no ceiling.
Yeah, I just want to throw it out there that if you already think some of the skips we've done so far, and trust me, we're going to do a lot more. If you think they're pretty cool, there's probably a lot more that are possible or just haven't made their way into single segment yet. So if you think this is cool, you should definitely keep an eye out for this run. I think it's going to develop a lot over the next few years. And speaking of skips, we're actually going to do another pretty unique skip here. This only really works on New Game Plus because we have grenades at this point. So for these 3 rooms, what I'm going to try to do is do a damage boost, because normally when you finish interacting with these buttons here, the door closes and you got to wait a little bit before it opens, before you can go to the next one. But if we line this up correctly, for example, I can interact with this, get blasted back, and we're back in the main room
Beautiful.
without having to wait there.
I have never been able to do that a single time.
Yeah, some of it, they're a little tricky. I'm a little better at the first one than the other 2, so we'll see how many of them we can get. Okay, nice. There's 2.
Oh, nice. Can we go 3 for 3?
We'll see. This is the one that I'm definitely the worst at, but you know, I think we got a shot here. Maybe. Okay, nice. We got it.
Let's go.
Let's go. Nice. All right. So, and, you know, honestly, it's not even like a huge time save, but I think it looks really cool. So it's always worth it to go for there. All right. But yeah, it just saves a little bit of time on each because normally the door just sits there for a bit and you have to wait for it to open. So we're gonna meet up with Joseph here. So when you first arrive at the hospital at the beginning of the game, you're with 2 of your partners. We're playing as a police officer, by the way. If we didn't mention that. So yeah, this is one of our partners here, Joseph. So whenever he is with us, we usually have to make sure he does not die either. So we heal him a little bit. I honestly didn't even need to heal him that much on casual, but you know, just to be safe there. And the flash bolt there is just to blind the enemies, because otherwise Joseph will start fighting them, and then we pretty much have to kill all of them. Whereas here, we're able to escort Joseph past that, get to the scene, and get him to start unlocking this door so we don't have to bother with the enemies. You are going to see them come down the stairs here. We don't actually have to worry about them, but I can already hear them. Yeah,
They're coming.
They're coming, yeah.
Yeah, another like little labbing insight. I think the like ally heal tutorial is the first or maybe the second like priority trigger or whatever you want to call it. Oh, hello.
Plenty of time.
So we could maybe even like skip from the key card area to there, but we do have to heal Joseph. Like that part is absolutely required.
Yeah.
Maybe one day, you know, we'll get some kind of speedrun mod where all triggers and all collision and stuff is loaded at once in a given chapter. That would be really cool, but
That would be very fast.
I would have no idea how that would even be done.
Me either. But it would be really cool.
It would be really fun routing it, I think.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Okay, so our other partner, Kidman, is here. So she's in this tank. It's filling up with water. We're gonna help her. We're gonna like kind of skip part of this area, but we do have to do this fight first. So I'm gonna mostly abuse the bolts that we have on the crossbow. So there's some explosive bolts, another incendiary one to take out these enemies, and then I'll just use the sniper here on the remaining couple if Joseph doesn't pick them off. And then we should have one here. There we go.
Watch out! They've got dynamite.
Okay. So that's the first half there. I'm going to place some more bolts for later. And then I'm going to jump up here, place an incendiary bolt here to take out all the enemies in this room. And I'm going to go ahead and craft more of those.
Yeah, I think this room, arena, whatever you want to call it, I think that's probably my favorite combat routing. It's like probably the most intricate. Unless you do Gauntlet. But you can, you know, we'll get there.
Oh, yeah. I usually don't have that guy spawn out of there. I think it was because of where I was standing.
Is that it?
But there we go. So
yeah, like memorizing where everybody spawns at what time and like placing all the like incendiaries and stuff before they spawn. I don't know. It feels a lot like routing Doom Eternal's arenas. I don't know. You know, that's nostalgic for me.
Okay, nice. All right. So normally here, we're supposed to go talk to Joseph here. He's going to tell us, oh, you got to go use this dial.
That was close.
And we are going to do that. Use the dial, I mean, but we're not going to go talk to Joseph. We're going to try to do a zip here. This collision's a little weird. It's a bit of a glitchy grab here. You got to have a very specific angle, and then we're just going to zip over like that up to the dial and skip the whole section where we normally have to.
It's got the same kind of dials, right?
22, there we go. Okay.
One and a bottom one. Set the upper dial to.
Okay.
Nice.
All right. So yeah, that just skips having to go all the way around and run past some enemies with dynamite and stuff like that. A little scary. My success rate is like very high. I'm gonna say like at least like probably like 90%. So it's not like that worrying, but occasionally there you can get launched out of bounds fully like onto the ceiling. And if you land too far out there, it's actually kind of bad because you got to reload the checkpoint. There's no way to get back in. Oh, and here, by the way, you're going to see this more throughout the run, but if you free aim while walking through water, you do not get slowed down. You can run at full speed, which is a bit of an exploit there. And I'm just going to take out these enemies here. Going to use the freeze bolt. Take out these two, hopefully. I missed that one, that's fine. And then there we go. Oh, I thought I got the headshot there. I did not. Okay, there we go. All right.
North American aim.
Yep, there we go.
Just a few bumps, we're fine.
Okay. So we're just trying to stand in some specific spots here to manipulate Joseph into starting this cutscene as soon as possible.
The door's locked from the other side.
Sebastian, maybe we can lift this enough for Kidman to go under and open it from the
All
other
right.
side.
So we have a little bit of Chapter 5 left after this. After the next little cutscene, we're gonna see Laura again. Again with the Magnum, it's not too bad. We are gonna use the brass knuckles for the first time here. So that is something. I think it's from beating Akumu. I'm pretty sure you get that. But what it does is it kills pretty much any enemy in one hit with melee. So we're gonna use that in addition with the Magnum to do a bunch of damage to Laura. So it's going to be one melee hit and then one Magnum shot. And we're going to do that twice. The first time...
I'm glad you're both all right.
Again, you know, it's actually been a while since I played casually. I forget. You don't have to do enough damage to her there, I don't think. But the second time is more of a proper boss fight where you do actually have to fight her. And, you know, you can use burning the bodies or other, like, she's weak to fire. That's her weakness. You can use other elements of fire in the room to deal damage. Of course, on New Game Plus, you know, we already have a lot of weapons, so we're just gonna try to deal as much damage as possible right away.
Another one of those
More slowed
doors.
movements. We're gonna punch here for a bit. This hitbox is deceptively big on this wire, so I'm gonna take this extremely safe. It's absolutely massive, and if you touch it, it spawns spikes everywhere. So it's you got to be so careful there.
I know with some tripwires you can like crouch and then punch under them.
Yeah, you
But
can.
it's not all of them, right?
Yeah, well, I think you can do it with that one. I just don't go for it because it's really scary.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. Okay, I guess my yeah. I don't know. Sometimes it's hard for me to tell like when exactly she's able to take damage there. But whatever. Anyway, so that gets us past that part. We're gonna do the same thing here. I'm gonna try to do it a little bit. Hopefully it goes a little smoother. I'm trying to punch first here. There we go. Okay, that's what we wanted the first time. Okay.
And what's the punch for? I don't think I've seen that.
Oh, so that's the brass knuckles. So
Right.
yeah. So that does a ton of damage, and then the magnum finishes it off. I did it in the opposite
I forgot
order.
entirely about the brass knuckles.
Yeah, I did it in the opposite order the first time, and I thought that would work. And well, it might have just been that my first magnum shot missed. I'm not sure, like while she was spawning, but anyway, whatever. It doesn't matter.
Social cognition, repetitive behaviors, signs of synesthesia
All right.
reported.
So we're just setting up for the next strat we're gonna do here. We get a little bit of lore. The villain Ruvik is basically trying to move his consciousness into this person Leslie's body. His original body, well, his brain was removed to help create this whole STEM thing that everybody's in. And so he's trying to find a new body to basically move his consciousness into. I'm pretty sure, if I remember correctly.
If I recall, so the reason that this version of STEM is like so corrupted and violent and stuff is because of Ruvik's traumatic childhood.
Yeah.
And he can only transfer this version of STEM to someone with like a brain similar. So Leslie went through some similar childhood trauma, and that's the reason why only Leslie's brain is like compatible, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, we throw the shock bolt down there. If you crouch, you can grab these plugs from a little bit further away. You see me doing that a little bit there. All right, so that is pretty much chapter 5 there. So chapter 6. All right, so we're gonna do a lot more zips starting in this level. You're gonna see some pretty crazy skips. The trick that I am the most afraid of is coming up very soon here. Cabin skip. So for those that have played, Resident Evil 4, the cabin, there's a very similar section in this game. We also just call it the cabin. Same director for both games. Makes sense, right? So the cabin, normally you have to fight enemies and for a few different waves on the top floor and the bottom floor, and wait for Joseph to unlock the doors by disarming the bombs. We're going to try to skip that entire section with 2 zips. There's a ton of ways to do this. For the first zip, I'm going to do a slightly safer version because a lot of the methods for doing this first zip, it's kind of a one and done sort of deal where you either get it or you don't. And if you don't get it, you're stuck. Now, if we get launched too far out of bounds, we don't die, but we can get stuck where we can't get back out and we'd be forced to reload an autosave. And the problem is that with this particular skip, unlike most on the run, there's not really a convenient checkpoint beforehand, so we're gonna lose like 3 or 4 minutes if we miss it.
Yeah.
So it is possible, that time is built into the estimate. Hopefully we get it first try. We do have to get both zips. So yeah, it's a little. It's
even you.
Yeah, I've had a lot of practice, so I'm feeling pretty good about it, but we'll see how it goes. I'm just throwing that out there. It is a scary trick. It is very cool though. So I will do my best to get it first try here. And after that, it's not going to stop. There's a few more zips and tricks we're going to do immediately after that. But this is definitely the scariest trick in the run. Partially because you do have to hit 2 zips in a row for it, but also because how brutal the checkpoint is.
In that there is not one. You have to restart.
If there was one just right after this these whole sequences here, it honestly wouldn't even be that bad. But thank you for the good luck. I appreciate it. Okay, so with the method that I'm gonna do, so I'm gonna run into this house that's gonna be on the left, and I'm gonna try to do a zip that launches me straight upwards instead of crazy far to the side like you've seen in some of these other ones.
Sebastian.
And hopefully Sebastian is gonna ledge grab a part of the roof, and that'll let us get out of bounds and walk around the gate, which normally is the trigger to load us into the cabin section. Now, we talked about having certain triggers to hit. This level's a very good example of that. There's a ton of them that we have to intentionally hit while also trying to go out of bounds. So we need to go into the cabin to hit a trigger on the bottom floor. So we want to get out of bounds at a point where we can run over and hit that. If you see me punch like that, by the way, it's because I'm trying to free aim and I don't have my gun out yet for stamina management. It happens sometimes. If you just don't have it out, he does that.
You can also zip on one of those. I don't know if you knew this, Shark. You can zip on one of those early rocks just to skip some movement.
Yeah, I have seen that. I haven't messed with it too much. Too many.
It's a little inconsistent.
Yeah. Oh, nice. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Okay. We might be cooking a little bit. Oh, I fell off.
Oh no!
That is extremely
oh.
sad. Okay.
Oh, that's rough.
That's fine. Wow.
Banana ledges.
Yeah.
That's not your. I blame the game.
Yeah, I'm gonna be a little more careful next time because I genuinely have not had that happen to me before, but I will be more careful next time.
I'm gonna tell you this right now because I watched this on the Discord stream and then I watched it again on the Twitch window. You landed like a good 2 feet away from the cliff.
Yep.
But it was just like it was literally like a slippery slope, and Sebastian just went straight down. That's so unfortunate.
That is a shame. Wow, because that was first try on the first one too.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was beautiful, and then it wasn't.
Okay. I think what I'm gonna do too is I'm using controller for that first zip. I think I'm gonna switch back to keyboard for the movement after that, and then back to controller again for the second zip. That part is pretty. I should just jump more to the right, and I'll be totally fine. That was just like that was silly. But like I said, this trick is also just hard. So it'd be like that. It's just very punishing. So what were you gonna say?
Let me recap because I don't even remember either because I didn't touch this skip in my PBs. Like didn't even try in any actual run attempts because I never got it once in practice. It is really hard, guys. Anyways, it's so for this setup that you're doing. You're zipping up onto the roof and doing like the ledge grab, right?
Yeah.
And then there's the zip past the gate, like to the cabin, right?
So we're gonna walk out of bounds past the gate to the cabin, and then we're gonna do a zip to the next area that the cabin leads to.
Oh, okay, beautiful. Yeah, that's even better than the last. Dude, look at me learning.
Well, so there was an original version, and actually I think the segmented run lands on the roof of the cabin and then drops inside to hit the trigger. I'm actually going to do the window jump setup. I think that you found. I'm pretty sure. Yeah. So we're gonna
do that one.
Yeah. So we're gonna do that.
I was thinking about the zip from like you do like the wall land. Oh, that's to get to the next area, right? Okay. I just got it all mixed up in my head.
Oh, no,
we're on
no
the
worries.
Same page now.
Yeah, and for one of the other tricks I might go for in this level, there's a similar thing where you have to zip past a certain point, but then backtrack to hit a trigger. It's funny. There's like a way where you could just go straight to like the end of that section of the level, but you have to dip out of bounds or dip inbounds to hit a trigger, and then try to get out of bounds in basically the same area you were just in, to then skip some more stuff. So I'm gonna pull out my gun this time for free aim for some stamina management. There we go. Okay.
Also, there is so instead of walking up this staircase, there is various zips that you can do from the bottom. But from what I've seen, nobody's been able to find a zip that actually carries you all the way to the top of the staircase.
Yeah.
Because there's just like weird geometry.
There's also just so many zips in this game that you can do. Because you can do them pretty much anywhere. So there's a lot to optimize.
I'm really confident that the current world record could be brought down like 15, 20 minutes maybe in the next, 5-10 years, depending on how much attention this game gets.
I don't even know how I used a syringe there. I'm not gonna lie, I don't know how I did that in the menu, but that's fine. I can use the health anyway, that's fine.
Yeah, so if anything, this is now showing you like how complicated these are. There's so many variables that are within your control, but you have to get all of them right. That's your input timing, your frame rate. Beautiful, by the way.
Okay, there we go.
Input timing, your frame rate, your angle.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm missing something, but anyway.
Yeah, they are difficult, for sure. Okay, so now using this setup, we're gonna jump inside the window here. So we do need to get into the building, like I said. Almost.
Almost.
We do need a lot of speed for this. Back up a little more. Oops.
Oh, careful. I think you can walk out of bounds there.
Should be right here. There we. Oh no. Dude.
Oh, try a bit more to the right, maybe.
Okay. I'm not gonna lie. I always get this jump first try, so I don't. Yeah. I think it's trolling me a little bit.
That's marathon.
Need a little more speed. There we go. Okay. Yeah. You just need enough speed for that. There's not a lot of room to move there. So okay. All right. So we're in the cabin. We hit the trigger. Now we're going to stand here, wait for the level load to change, and then now we're going to try the second zip and hopefully land in a good spot here so we don't have to redo the whole trick again.
If you haven't played this game before, there's no jump button, by the way. There's only, you can like mantle things, but there's no jumping.
Yes, that looks good. Okay, nice.
Here we go.
Yeah, we're good. And we are back in bounds. There we go. That is cabin skip. Okay.
You were telling me it was okay, and I was like, that looks like a deadly pit there, my friend. But then, there's the invis wall, so we're good.
Fortunately, there are a lot of areas you can land there. There's like some very small pockets you can land in the collision where you die, but no, that looked good. Okay, we're immediately going to do another glitch here by flash bolting the gears on the side of this thing. Did I get it? I did. Nice. Okay,
I still don't understand why or how this works.
We'll be honest, I actually don't know why it works, but if you throw flash bolts at those gears, it will hit the adjacent containers and destroy them. So, I don't know. It's very fast. Otherwise, you would have to go to different parts of this arena to get them to open up so you could attack them. That's a mini-boss. He's dead with the rocket launcher. Yeah, the sadist is really scary at the beginning of the game, but with more tools later on, especially in New Game Plus, it's not as bad. I'm actually really happy with that cabin skip. Honestly, I can't believe I missed it in the way that I did. All the ways it would normally go wrong, it didn't. But that's great though. That is the scariest part of the run. We're past that. So that's awesome.
Hell yeah, GDQ clap, everybody.
All right, so we're gonna stick this.
That doesn't seem very nice.
So we're gonna stick this explosive on Joseph. That is actually important here coming up. We're gonna save Joseph. Well, we actually are gonna save him. It just doesn't look like we are.
We're gonna save him by sticking a barbed explosive bolt into his belly.
We sure are. All right. So yeah. So the next section here. So Joseph's gonna get grabbed by enemies, and we could throw a flash bolt or shoot them or something like that. But if the explosive is on him, it will not damage him, but it will immediately kill the enemies. So once that happens, you're supposed to meet up with Joseph, protect him while he opens that gate, walk through a market, do another walk and talk section with some cutscene, and then we can progress. We're gonna try to skip all of that. I'm gonna attempt to do some zips here. Oh, did I not place that? I think I placed it like just on him. I think I can. There we go. Okay, now he's fine.
Nice. He's fine, everyone. He's fine.
Don't worry about it. Okay, so we're gonna use this freeze bolt here to knock away that out of our way. We're gonna set up another zip here. See if we can get this one. Set that up again. This one's a little tricky here.
Okay.
Ooh, that looks really good, actually.
I love that.
Oh, we're back in bounds too. Oh, that actually was that was almost perfect, actually. Yeah. So if you get
that's so nice because there's a trigger like right there that you need to hit.
All right. I'm gonna go for this one too.
Okay.
Real quick. Just let me see if we can get this here.
Let him cook.
This one is I'm a bit more new to, so it may take me a little longer to get this one, but if we can't get it within a few more tries, I can always progress here. We've already hit the trigger, but if I can get launched here like that, and hopefully that's not too far. Ooh, that looks really good actually too.
Okay.
Ooh, nice.
Look at you go.
Almost perfect actually. Wow. Okay, so now we're just gonna hit this cutscene right here. There we go. Nice. Okay. That warps Joseph over here, and we just skipped all the walking and cutscene stuff.
I'm counting. So I wanted to ask you both, how do you think Joseph feels just watching Sebastian launch hundreds of feet in the air every 5 minutes, every 30 seconds to say?
You know, if my boss was doing that too, I think I would be a little bit confused.
He's
I'd
really
have some
motivating him
questions.
to do the job.
Up here and see if I can get a look ahead.
You saw some floor there that wasn't quite loaded in, just because of the skip that we did there. It's all fine, probably. I'm just kidding. Okay, so we are going to continue here. I believe there is actually a zip you can do here. I think Amwolf was saying there might actually be a way to make it fast. In the segmented run, I'm pretty sure he says it's not faster, but I'm sure there's been some developments. Again, the original segmented run was created to kind of showcase what's possible, because again, a lot of these zips are pretty difficult, and there's a wide range of where you can actually land, even if you try to do a very similar setup. Like that launch I got there was pretty different than some of the other launches I got of the same exact trick, you know, when I was trying it earlier today. So a lot of the ones you're going to see me do that are more consistent they're more consistent because we have a large range of places we can land and the trick will still work. Obviously there's places that are more optimal, you know, like with that one you want to land as close to the cutscene as possible, but you know, if you land anywhere where you can actually make it over there, it still works. All right, so again, New Game Plus, we're just gonna yeah. All right, so that church over there is the end of the level, but again, there's a few more things we got to do to trigger the well, to spawn in the end level trigger there. So I'm purposely not reloading here. We're going to do something called the reload glitch. And I'm also just waiting for Joseph to come over here. But basically, if you are standing still and you reload while interacting with things, it will usually complete the animation instantly. So for example, in the next section, we're going to interact with some levers. And doing the reload glitch on the lever will instantly finish the lever animation, so you'll get the effect of whatever, you know, that lever does. It'll look a little weird because Sebastian is actually then going to do the animation himself of pulling the lever while the lever is already moved. So it might not look faster because Sebastian is still locked in place for the same amount of time, but you get the effect of pulling the lever much sooner than you would, because normally it wouldn't trigger until the animation's done. But you'll see what I mean.
So for instance, like if finishing the lever starts opening a gate or something and you have to wait for the gate, usually you can overlap Sebastian pulling the lever and the gate opening, so you're saving that amount of time.
Yeah, usually it's not like a massive time save, but it does add up a little bit. We're gonna do it on some valves later where you have to usually turn them for a lot longer, and that saves way more time. So that's definitely the biggest time save, but we're gonna do 3 reload glitches here and hopefully get a dialogue skip with Joseph here. We'll see what happens. But ideally, if we go at the right time, the trap will not kill us, and we will also skip the dialogue with Joseph. It's not a huge deal, but this whole last section of Chapter 6, where we have to kind of escort Joseph because we need him for the next objective, we want to make sure he goes as fast as possible. So there's the reload glitch. See the lever pop over instantly. And then I'm going to intentionally shoot here so I am able to reload again and do it here. So there's that glitchy
Looks so funny.
push animation there.
He's also pushing it the complete wrong way.
Should it? Hold on a second.
There we go.
Let's look around a little while longer.
So you just wait for that dialogue and then you're good to go.
Yeah, he should be...
Oh yeah, I don't know how to make
There
him
we go.
run faster there.
Seems that was
I think it's just the timing of going through like around when that line of dialogue is finishing.
Oh, okay.
Because otherwise he has more dialogue that he says there. Yeah, it can be a bit finicky because if you don't time it right, he'll just walk super slowly down the whole hallway and it feels really bad. Same thing here.
I know at one point...
Oh, go ahead. Yeah.
Oh, go ahead. You go ahead.
Okay.
We passed it.
Okay. I was gonna say, yeah. So for here, we do need Joseph, like I said, to get to the end of this area. So we move ahead a little bit. We're gonna wait on him to catch up just a little bit here, and then keep going. Because even though we can get to the end pretty fast just by sprinting there, we gotta wait for him anyway. So it's a little better just to make sure he's actually following you, so you don't have to run back for him. You know. But there we go. Yeah, so now we're just gonna wait here. try to interact with this gate once he gets over here. Sebastian stuck a bomb inside Joseph and concerned about the jumps. Yeah, I kind of forgot we did that to him as well. I'd be a little bit more worried if my boss just said, yeah, I'm gonna stick this explosive crossbow bolt on you. Don't worry about it though, it's fine. Oh yeah, we got another boss here. We're just gonna shoot him with the Magnum. It's a common theme for New Game Plus. One thing I will, I guess, note here is we're going to take that time to pick up some more pistol ammo. Again, we don't have infinite ammo, and we want to avoid going out of our way to pick up extra drops. Oh, we'll see this more in a few levels from now, but you'll see me do some really weird shimmy movement here, and that's because mashing forward is faster going through shimmies than just holding forward. So you'll see him kind of just standing still. You actually will see it a little bit here. Right at the end.
Yeah, it's like you're restarting the animation, which I guess is fast. It looks so goofy.
Sorry.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It's not just about being unable to see.
All right, well, I am relieved that we're past chapter 6 now. That is probably the hardest level in the run. There's a later level, chapter 11, that in theory, if you were to do all the possible skips, is probably much harder. I will still be doing a lot of them, but not all of them. So yeah, we'll get to that. But honestly, not bad for chapter 6. Second try cabin, super happy about that. Everything else there was pretty good. Okay, chapter 7. This is one of my favorite levels in the whole run. This is actually the reason why I picked up this run in the first place. When I saw this level in the segmented run, I was thinking, man, I really hope that's possible single segment. That is so cool. So hopefully you all will find it to be the same. I think it's awesome. Very beginning here, we actually just have to wait for Joseph before we get into the actual skips here. Just wait for him to sit down, interact with them, skip a cutscene, and then we're in the main part of the level. So the idea is usually you're supposed to pick up these 3 stone tablets, which opens up a big stone obstacle, which leads to the last section of the level. We are going to skip picking up the last 2. We do still have to get the first one, just to progress. But I guess we'll see that in a second here. I am really glad a lot of these tricks do work in single segment. Like we said, I think this category is going to get pushed way further. I've tried to do my best to get as many of these zips consistent as possible to show that off. But again, that segmented run, definitely recommend checking it out, and just keep in mind that it can get way crazier than
Better start searching
than
for
this.
partners.
Yeah, I'm just gonna check right now even. So New Game Plus, the first ever time submitted was, oh yeah. So I'm looking at IGT, but the first ever time submitted was 234. And then just the other day, I think you brought that down to what, 221?
It was just barely down to 221, but yeah.
Yeah.
222, yeah, 01. And it could
so
go way
segmented
lower.
run is an hour and 59 minutes IUT, and M-Wolf had said they can maybe even be 10 minutes faster. So, yeah, potentially working with like 30 minutes of time save into the future years of Evil Within.
All right, yeah, and again, we don't need to go too just too much doesn't matter really for this run, but yeah, there is a separate LRT board as well. Just different timing methods affects the strats a little bit. But yeah, the LRT record is 214, so the single segment record is 214. Could go lower. I honestly think single segment could push below 2 hours someday, but we'll see about that. Okay, so this obstacle right here, the invis wall for it does not extend all the way to the floor. There's a slight gap, and our hitbox while we are, hold on, let me get the right angle. That looks better.
I can explain this if you'd like.
Yeah, go for it.
So yeah, while Sebastian is in ragdoll mode, he like lays down, right? And the thing is that his hitbox actually changes to be laying down, and there's a small little gap underneath this box here.
There we go.
So Shark is gonna blow himself up, and then Sebastian's just gonna sneak right under there. And so we're essentially skipping the other 2 like mask or imprintments or whatever that are supposed to go in the stone. and then we're gonna go here. We're gonna hit a checkpoint, load that checkpoint. We now have sort of like a corrupted state of the map where we've hit a checkpoint further into like the progression of where we're supposed to be. So this door is now open, but the area is not loaded. So we can just walk out of bounds and zip, and then I'll let you take over from here.
Yeah, and that's actually why we had to put the first tablet in there. Also nice, looks good. Should land here.
That looks pretty good.
Nice.
Oh, that was close.
So yeah, we do have to put the first tablet in there because that does open that that wall there, and I don't believe you can get out of bounds here without that. But yeah, since we hit a trigger that was, or a checkpoint that was further in the level, try not to fall off here.
Yeah,
it unloads the level. Yeah,
tablet thing that you put in is what opens that door. So
yeah. All right, so we do need to get back in bounds, like we saw. Wait, that. Oh, that landed down there. Whoops. Okay.
Oh.
Use another one here. Okay, explosives can fortunately get you back in bounds. So we're just gonna ragdoll right into the end level trigger right there, and that is chapter 7.
So awesome.
That is so cool. Yeah. Yeah. No. Okay. So that was pretty good. Moving right along to chapter 8 here. Pretty straightforward.
So,
yeah. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, I was just gonna ask. Last time I ran, chapter 8 was still pretty much glitchless. So I was just gonna ask if there was like anything fancy.
Nothing too crazy. There's like 2 like really small zips you can do, but they're not really like that worth it. It's like very minor. You know, just for fun, I might go for one of them here. I honestly actually haven't really like practiced it too much, but I'll just try it. You know, it's whatever. If we don't get it, it looks cool. Yeah.
I think the most interesting thing. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh no, I was gonna say yeah. The only real tricks in this level so far that I'm aware of are just like some really small zips that just save a tiny time on movement, but that's it.
Yeah. So very few skips, but there is some interesting like strategy involved. In particular, with so there's those bigger enemies. Oh, here we go. Here we go.
We'll see. We'll see.
Pause for a sec.
Not really, but you know what? We went a little bit. Yeah, you get the idea. You can land like around here. Yeah, we take those for sure. Yeah.
So yeah, there's these like tiny little, almost like head crab enemies that are going to be spawning and trying to prevent us from turning the wheels. And so there's some interesting, I guess, combat strategies involved in deterring those and turning the wheel earlier.
Yes, I'm going to try to place this incendiary bullet correctly so that when the enemies above me fall, they should be landing directly in that. You don't need to place one of these, but if you get unlucky, they will hit you, so it's a little bit safer. Yeah, there's one crawling right there. So yeah, they can still hit you. It's a little scary, but we're good there. Again, going to free aim here so that we can have our normal run speed. Normally, you move very slow in water.
I love how they just explode when you walk on them. That's so visceral. Welcome to Evil Within, everybody.
All right. Yeah, and there's like another very tiny zip you can do here. Probably saves like a second or 2. I'm probably not going to do this one just because it's not really worth it. But yeah, you can zip on these rocks on the right here and land right about here. So yeah,
huge.
It's huge.
Big time save.
All right, so got a little puzzle, if you want to call it that, here, and moving along.
It is. I think it's kind of. It's like a.
It is a cool.
It was a unique puzzle when you like play through it casually because you have to look at it.
Yeah.
So you pick up this plate. There's the imprint, and you go, okay, this person died. You look at the imprint and you see like where the blood goes, and you're like, okay, they had it this way clearly, and they died. Okay, so let me try it the other way, and then it works. Like I don't know. It's really simple, but I found it like fascinating.
It is cool, and if you do the wrong way, you will also die there. I guess that is worth noting.
Doc.
All right, so we should be fine, but I'm gonna go to 30 FPS just in case here. There is a cart here. The higher the FPS you go, the more likely it is to just block the door frame here and you die. This boss is pretty fast. It gets very close to you, even when you run at full speed here.
Also, I'm pretty sure on like 120 FPS and above that you just will lose this hallway here.
Yeah, I think
Like,
so.
You just can't do it.
Yeah, it's usually fine at 60. I do it at 30 a lot of the time just to be extra safe because I don't want to die right there, you know? All right. So chapter 9 coming up here. This level is also very reminds me a lot of Resident Evil. We're going to a mansion.
Oh, definitely.
And we gotta do some puzzles and whatnot. A few more zips we are gonna do in this level. There's two kind of small ones. They're not massive time saves, but I'm gonna try them. They're not too punishing to attempt at least. So here we do not have the ability to aim, but we can crouch. So spamming crouch is going to be a little bit faster than walking. So we're just doing that there until we get our normal move speed back, where we can sprint. Should be right here. Oh, I guess a little jump scare warning here. Once we interact with this the second time, I guess mild flashing lights warning, I suppose. It's not really like flashing lights, but it does switch between multiple frames pretty quickly. It only lasts for like it only lasts for like a few seconds here. Right about.
We'll tell you when you can look back.
Yeah, right about here. Yeah, it's just gonna be switching back and forth between the scenes pretty quickly here. There we go. All right, you can look back now.
Yeah, yep. That like face in the face. That is also another movie file, so you could theoretically replace Ruvik's face with, say, your own if you wanted to,
or whatever, or anything. Yeah.
Yeah, or anything.
All right, so here we also actually cannot crouch. So the only option we have is to just very slowly walk forward for a moment here before we get normal control back right about here. All right, so in the mansion, there are 3 brain puzzles you have to do. You have to stick a big pin or nail or whatever in the right section. And we also have to solve another puzzle involving 2 parts of a combination lock. So we're gonna pick those up on the way. Now, Ruvik actually shows up as an enemy in this level, which doesn't happen super often in the game, but we have to be very careful because on any difficulty, it's a one-hit kill if he touches you. And there's a little bit of randomness with what he decides to do. I am going to reload a checkpoint to try to manipulate that a little bit. But, you know, no guarantees. He can kind of just appear. As long as he doesn't appear directly in front of us as we're, you know, mid-sprint, we should be okay. But after this what's up?
Oh, I was just gonna say, just as a sort of like, I guess, self shout out. If you do want to learn this game, we do have resources for like all the puzzles and all that kind of stuff, like learning the skips. I promise you, it's not that hard to learn. I made a couple guides for like puzzles like these ones here, like all the different brains that'll show you exactly where you need to put the needle. So yeah, if you want to pick this game up. There's a lot of potential, and it's not too hard to pick up. So if you're interested, come join us.
Yeah, and I know we've been saying a lot of the zips can be pretty hard, but with some practice, it definitely gets a lot easier. And there's a lot of options. You don't have to do every single trick. Like with cabin skip, for example. I didn't do it in my first runs. I've like very slowly added them in over time. Mostly just starting with some of the easier ones that save more time and things like that. But it's a very cool run, so can definitely recommend it. But yeah, there's that first dial there that we need. We're gonna make our way over to the second puzzle, and on the way back from the second one is where Ruvik's gonna show up. So that's where we gotta be a little bit more careful. It's gonna look scary. He should appear basically right where I'm standing now. We're gonna run around him. He teleports though. That's the problem. So we just have to see where he shows up. Also delaying my shot there because hitting that is deceptively weird. Just kind of like doesn't work sometimes. Oh yeah, so this is called a crouch punch. We haven't really, I don't know if we mentioned that too much, but if you press crouch while you're punching, you actually get the shrunken hitbox from crouching, or I guess shorter hitbox. So you can actually continue to move forward while punching, keep that punching speed, but fit through smaller gaps like that. So we'll do that where we can to just shave off a little bit of time here and there. So for example, I'm gonna try to do another one here. There we go, nice. Oh, just standing up here in the thing, that can happen too.
Oh, Father.
Okay, so Ruvik should be right about here. Hey, pal. So if he touches us, then
Hey, buddy.
Yeah, hey, buddy. So that is the one-hit kill if he touches us. So again, we do need to be a little careful here. Just a little quick crouch there to. Ooh, you were right there. That's not good. All right. You think I can juke him here? Nope. Okay, he teleported. Okay, he's not gonna show.
The answer was no.
No, that's so unlucky. Okay, well, whatever. He doesn't usually do that, but you know, again, we'll call it marathon luck. All right, so we're just gonna go back. He shouldn't be here now. I think he actually might not spawn again. Last time that happened to me, he just didn't spawn again, so it might just be.
I didn't pay attention to see if you loaded checkpoint previously, but I do know that if you just continue without loading checkpoint, or if you load checkpoint, his cycles are different. So now that you've died and it's effectively loaded checkpoint, his cycle will be different. And I think that might screw you up a little bit at your next item pickup. So just be careful of that. You might have to like bait him a bit. Yeah, in this room here, unless I'm just entirely wrong.
Also weird.
If he's on the first cycle, he should be at the stairs here.
Yeah. Also, weird thing that
where the
happened
hell is
there.
he?
I was trying to drop the axe there, but it's the same button to light the body. So he just did a few extra things there. So I'm pretty sure if you die there, he should not show back up again. I don't know if it might be on a timer, but so I reloaded the first checkpoint to try to manipulate him so he would spawn right there. We just got unlucky and he spawned right in front of us. Which I guess that just happens. But yeah, last time this happened to me where I got unlucky there with the spawns and I died, he just didn't show up again. So I think we're good. We just don't want him to show up when we're doing the puzzle because I don't think you can actually do it while he's there, or he might just kill you while you're doing it. I'm not sure. But hey, we're good. We're good now. We finished the last puzzle there, so we can head off to the next area. The whole reason we're doing that is it unlocks this big door coming up here.
It also loads the next area. Like all three of those brain puzzles are unfortunately necessary.
Yeah, there probably would be a way to get out of bounds and skip this, but you know, again, gotta kind of follow the rules here. Do what the game wants to a certain degree. Now that being said, we are actually coming up pretty soon to those 2 zips that I mentioned we're gonna do in this chapter.
Slice clean, all the way.
We mentioned, I guess, lore-wise here because it's important. This whole section. So, this is Ruvik as a child. So he had a lot of, you know, trauma and stuff like that. So we see a little bit of that.
Ruvik?
In this section. But we're just gonna be running for a bit until we get to the skull maze, which is where we're gonna do our first zip. We're gonna attempt to skip the whole thing if we can. Otherwise, just trying to manage our stamina here. We get a bit of a cool room here. Oh wait, sorry. So the enemy spawns here. You see this exact room like a bunch of times, and it kind of like loops back on itself. It's very trippy. Yes. Okay. So he spawns. Then the next time we come in this room, that's when it gets like way longer with the spike traps and everything. Yeah. This is the room I was thinking of. Yeah. All right. So this room's gonna look scary, but we will be just fine. Don't worry. I'm pretty sure this only works on casual, but don't quote me on that. Because we actually are gonna hit one of these trips here, which is gonna lower the spikes.
Yeah, and then there's just no more.
Yeah.
They only have one on the left-hand side.
Yeah, I think it lowers much faster on harder difficulties. So you can't just do that.
Oh, this area is the bane of my existence.
Yeah.
I spend hours practicing these zips, and I just like always overshot or undershot it.
Yeah, this one can be kind of annoying. I'm trying to take it a little bit safer here so that I don't overshooting it is a lot worse than undershooting it. That looks pretty good. Nice.
That's pretty good. Yeah, I mean, hey, you know what? You skipped the maze. That's good enough.
I'll take that. Yeah, yeah. We're still gonna hit this this part. Oh, don't kill me. Actually, hold on. Oh, if you landed like okay, so it's because of the exact spot that I landed where I wasn't. It actually didn't let me turn around.
Yeah.
There, because again, you're not. I'm kind of hitting it from like the other side of the trigger, so it's a little weird. That's okay. Let's see if we can get another one here. So let's try that.
Yeah, this is one instance where I wish they. Yeah, that's B.
That's better.
Is it? Okay, yeah, you're good. You're good.
That was almost perfect. Yeah.
It's one instance where I wish they had just one giant invisible wall at the very end of it, but it's just all open, so you can just fall into the void.
Yeah. If you overshoot the trigger there, you are just stuck out of bounds, and you got to redo it as well.
Who was I led here?
Okay. We're gonna do another one in the barn. So the way this part works is there's gonna be a few cutscenes that we're gonna skip. I'm gonna wait for all of them. You can do it a little bit earlier with like a very specific timing. If you get to launch fast, but it's a little bit riskier. And if you die, you go all the way back to the maze we were just in. There's no checkpoint up to this point. So we're just kind of gonna wait until these cutscenes are done, and then we're gonna do a zip off this hay right here to get up there. Basically, there's two cranks you have to turn to get that lift down, so you can get up there normally. And we're gonna try to bypass that if possible here. Just gotta wait here for a little bit. Just mess around a little bit while we wait. Okay, we're almost there. All right, so after I skip this one here, then we can get up there.
Shit. Gotta get out of here.
All right. Nice, that was really good.
Nice, yeah.
All right, cool. So that gets us in here. And then we get a little, I don't know if I would call this a boss fight, but
Hardly.
yeah, but he's gonna spawn a bunch of enemies.
Which you can just manipulate.
Oh, I actually don't have any, okay. I was gonna use an incendiary bullet, but I don't have any. I'll just wait till the next chapter to craft some, because we're gonna need a bunch. Again,
I don't know,
this
maybe
is
on New Game this is like a little bit more tense, but because you could just one-shot them, they just keep coming and you just...
Yeah.
Yeah. In the same spot, like...
Yeah, it's not too bad on New Game Plus for sure. All right.
Really from soft levels of difficulty, that fight.
Oh yeah. All right, so this is the very end of chapter 9 here. Once we go through here, and then pretty much right at the start of chapter 10, we're gonna get another big out of bounds trick. Another one of my favorites in the run. Wait, oh, I got very disoriented. I don't know why I thought there was another room there. This chapter has a lot of rooms that like shift, and it's like a lot of the same rooms, so it's like very easy to just like forget. Okay.
On to chapter 10, double digits.
Oh yeah. Yeah, like I said, this is another one of my favorite chapters. We're immediately just gonna skip this entire ladder.
Yeah, battery skips in
drop
this
down
chapter, right?
here.
Yeah. Okay, yeah.
How many have you killed? Reuben. Does he mean Ruvik?
Yes, that's the trick we're doing right now, or just about to do.
As they themselves gave.
I'm gonna try to jump over this. Okay, it's a bit weird. There's a certain spot there you can vault over that, but that's okay. We can just take the ladder. Okay.
Nice.
So yeah, we're gonna try to do a zip here to get out of bounds to start with. Just like that. Very nice. We used the whole room to kind of ricochet around to get up here. Now another required trigger right there. And we're going to try to zip over
I've sat
there
here for like 5 minutes
with a non-weapon wheel launch. See if we can do that real quick.
And look at that. Beautiful.
Nice. Okay, there we go.
Yeah, the first one
Yeah.
is as long as you're kind of
There we go. Yeah, that one is pretty
right
tricky.
spot,
Definitely
there's like this arch
a little bit harder than the first one, I
room
think.
that will like guide you to the right spot.
Okay,
so.
but again, there we go. Yeah, so then just another explosive to knock us back inbounds, reload the checkpoint, so we don't stop lock here. This will kind of fix a couple things. And now this part's going to look a little bit weird because normally there's supposed to be enemies in here, but you know, we haven't really loaded the level completely properly, so there's kind of just not any enemies. So we can just do this. If there were, it's not a big deal. We do have shock bolts and freeze bolts, so we would be totally fine here as well, but get to save a little bit of ammo doing it this way. We do have to crank this thing all the way to the top though before we can keep going. Shoot here to set up a reload glitch. We're gonna just kind of crouch past this so we don't have to do that.
You can see like
lever there.
Normally you'd have to wait for those doors to open, but by the time Sebastian finishes his part of the animation, it's already open.
All right, so now we're gonna fight Laura again in a section coming up. So again, we've alluded to that segmented run. In the newer version, we might actually see, I don't believe the old one does Laura skip. It's, at least the versions I've seen are very difficult, very precise. So I don't actually even know if it's in the current segmented run. I can't remember, but I think we'll probably see that in the next one. But we are actually going to do most of this section. I'm going to do a bunch of reload glitches and maybe a zip here. We'll see if we can get it or not. Possibly, if we get it, we'll go over these two gates right here. Skip having to wait for them to open. But let's just see what we get here.
Nice, beautiful.
Nice. Sweet. All right, set up the freeze bolt for later. All right. There is another like really small zip we could have done a little further back that actually skips a trigger that spawns in her character model there, so you would actually just have nothing jumping at you there, which looks pretty funny. All right, so here's where we're gonna do a bunch of these reload glitches. We're gonna shoot that to get that going, and then use this lever. Fire another shot there to set up the next reload glitch. Just gotta wait here. I am gonna try to do a trick with the freeze bolt here to save a couple seconds. We're gonna get staggered by Laura spawning here. Like that, and then the freeze bolt knocks us out of it, and we can move a little bit quicker.
This chapter in particular has some really wicked segmented zips that I believe Wolf said took like literally 500 tries just to get once.
Gonna refill on all my bolts here. I think that's all of them. Okay.
In fact, I believe you can skip like all of Laura, right? Like you skip right to the elevator from that spot. Yeah.
Yeah, this
so
whole
like
section you can skip. Yeah.
Skip, but it's like ridiculously hard.
Yeah, if that ever gets into single segment, it's definitely gonna have to be a different setup, I think.
Yeah. For sure.
Oh, I see Cosmic in chat as well. What's up, dude? How's it going? I don't know if that's
because I think you have to zip over the fence, and then you have to zip back to like the cutscene trigger, and then anyway, it's a whole mess.
Yeah, I think if you hit the wrong cutscene trigger, you're just stuck. Okay, I was trying to do another reload glitch there. It didn't quite work, but that's okay. It's not a huge deal there. We're just kind of just spam her with this while we wait for this to open here. Shoot that to open the door here, pick up a little more ammo. And we're coming up on the final section here, so we got to hit 3 more of these things here. Just gonna kind of run past her here. It's fine. Don't worry about it. All right. Now we're gonna do another reload glitch here, hopefully. There we go. Okay. Just make sure he was actually reloading this time. So I'm just opting for this particular bolt because it keeps her stunned for a really long time. We have to use less individual bolts. This should be fine. I shouldn't need a... Yeah, there we go. Okay. Yeah, so you have to, like, on the way through, jump over that cutscene trigger, hit some other stuff, come back, and then hit it, or something like that. I forget the exact details, but yeah, it's like you have to jump over it, and if you don't make it, then, well, I don't think it works.
Rip.
Then rip, pretty much, yeah. All right. We're almost done with Chapter 10. We actually have another boss fight. A lot of these levels, even casually replaying, I would always forget. There's a lot of pretty like long levels or levels where you go through a lot and there's still a boss fight at the end. Because, I mean, I feel like that kind of counts as a boss fight. There, you know, each encounter with Laura. But we do have one more coming up in a little bit. We gotta run all the way over there first. Doing some more stamina management. This is going to warp us to the next area there after this cutscene. Yeah, there's a lot of these areas where you just go to like a different area for the very end of the level, and there's also a boss. And it, like, every time I derust or like play casually and I forget, it throws me off. Because I'm thinking, oh, we're done with the chapter, and then, oh yeah, we got to do all this too. Okay, so we're going to try to do some more crouch punches here through the vents. Like that. Again, just to keep that crouch speed while going through the beginning of the vent there. Yeah, we're almost to the boss fight now. We're gonna do something kind of funny here. It's presented where it looks like you should be running away from the boss, but we're gonna run directly into him instead to trigger the cutscene a little bit faster. So right here, he's gonna turn around, and you know, there he is.
God damn it.
I mean, you probably wouldn't run straight at this guy either, but you know. But yeah, so that just triggers that a little bit faster. So our strategy for the boss is we're gonna do 3 rocket launcher shots, and then ideally 2 magnum shots. We have to wait until the exact moment he's vulnerable, because he does this animation, which you'll see in a second here, but let's go ahead and do 3 of these. There we go. I'm just gonna wait a little bit.
Wait for the eye thing, yeah. I guess it's not an eye. I don't know what the heck that is.
There we go. Oh, we actually hit both. Nice. Okay, sweet.
I guess that would be its throat? I don't know.
I have no idea, to be honest. We're gonna pick up a little bit of extra ammo. We don't really need it, but again, you know, with the bolts, if we don't have to go into the menu and craft it, that's nice. And we do need more explosive bolts, so that works out. The sniper ammo we don't really need, but it's still nice to have anyway. All right. Now, another pretty crazy level right away here. So for Chapter 11, again, this is one, I know we've been talking about the segmented run a lot, but I think it's important to talk about quite a bit because without that, we wouldn't really have these tricks in single segment in the first place. Again,
yeah, I mean, the segmented run is the reason why both Sharkhat and I are interested in this run and why we're here today, so.
Yeah, exactly. So if you go watch that run and you were going to watch one chapter, I would watch this one, Chapter 11. That's what I would recommend. 7's cool too. We do the same route in single segment now too. But if you check out Chapter 11 and that, you're going to see some pretty different stuff. Some similar, some very different. We are still gonna do a lot of skips in this chapter. It's just it's a long level. There's a lot of specific triggers you can hit, and there are shortcuts between pretty much all of them. Some of them are just a little riskier than others, so that's why we're opting not to do some. Like the first skip of the level coming up very soon here, you can do it slightly earlier, and it saves a tiny bit more time, but there's no checkpoint before the faster version. So if you did it from here, you'd lose about 2 minutes for each miss, whereas the other one, you get the checkpoint right before you try it. So yeah, it's a little bit safer to just to go this way.
That's worth it every time for me, even in a PB attempt.
Yeah, and you know, with the run's getting way faster, but it's still over 2 hours, and at this point in the run, you'd be like an hour and a half into the run.
Yeah.
Going for cabin skip almost 40 minutes in is already kind of rough, but this would be like a whole another level going for some of these. But yeah, so we're gonna do a zip off of this corner here and hopefully land on the other side of this fence maze here. It's not quite the direction I wanted to go, but that's okay. Let's try it again. Okay, we want to go to the right here. That's fine.
I'm not sure why it's. You must be bouncing off of something that's sending it, because you've got the right angle. What the heck?
Yeah, that's really weird. I don't know. Sometimes they just kind of do that. Let me stand a little bit.
Try looking to the left. Like, I don't know.
I'm gonna stand a bit more right. That looks
okay.
better.
As long as you don't. Oh, okay, nice.
Yeah, I think we're good. We're good. Nice. Okay,
the building saved you.
Very nice. Okay, yeah, this is fine. Okay, so that's fence maze skip. Skips the fence maze. As the name implies there. But yeah, so that gets us over there. We're gonna get a water monster here. Any Amnesia fans in chat? Amnesia Dark Descent fans. We get a very similar section here where we're gonna throw some of the bodies into the water to prevent the monster from killing us. If you land in the right spot there or do the faster version of that trick, you actually avoid the trigger that starts this part, and the monster's just not going to be here at all. In our case, the monster is there, so we do actually have to deal with that. So there's a couple points here we're just going to drop a body in the water so it doesn't eat us instead.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but at the staircase that you were at, like just a minute ago or whatever, at the base of it, there's also a billboard sign fallen down that you can zip off of to skip the trigger for the monster.
That's right, actually, yeah. You can also do that. All right, we're going to do one more.
Oh my god,
here.
I did not. Dude, I've been swimming through this section for every run.
Oh no.
What? I had no idea you could do that.
That is.
And one time, okay, so yeah, one time I had the monster spawned, and I was getting so mad because I couldn't, because he kept killing me. Oh my god, I cannot believe you can just walk around that, well, and I cannot believe I didn't see that.
Well, next time you got it then.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we're gonna pick up this extra Magnum ammo. We probably don't need it, but it might help a little bit. No, I feel the same way though. Every time I sit down to watch more of this run, I'll pick up stuff like that. It's just such a long run. There's so many like optimizations and things. It's like there's so many like different routes and things you can do, or like easy things to miss. You know.
Honestly, like I'll admit, I'm a really lazy speedrun learner. Like I try and rush through it, and I'll just try and find like the big stuff. And then I just kind of YOLO the rest of it.
No, I know what you mean. I do that with a lot of runs too. Because, you know, for me, I want to get like a baseline going. I want to just finish a run. But I still want to get most of the big stuff. You know, I still want to learn a lot of the tricks. But, you know, I just want to get a run going. My first run doesn't need to be perfect or whatever. And you do pick up on a lot of the smaller stuff as you go. And it's kind of easier to pick that stuff up once you kind of know the basic route, you know? Then you can worry about that. But it's just different ways to learn. I know a lot of people want to go through and learn like every single thing immediately. I do more of what you were saying too, though. I tend to kind of prefer that learning style, especially with such a long run. Oh yeah, so we're gonna fly in the air again here. So this is garage skip. That area down there, you normally have to do a really long section. Can I climb up?
Ooh, can you?
There we go. Okay.
Oh, beautiful. Okay.
I wasn't sure if I had to go back around.
A bunch of enemies spawn in waves from like a garage thing, and you're kind of just stuck there having to kill them. Oh, and yep, okay, they're just gone.
Yeah,
See ya.
it's fine.
So is the door.
Yeah, so yeah, this part you have to fight a bunch of waves of enemies, then you can progress. You might be wondering why I'm coming back here, because this is where we just were, but you do have to hit some triggers here in order for this next section to actually work and for everything to load. So
It's funny, I don't know if I've ever watched a full garage skip, because I didn't know that.
yeah, and you know, actually, so this trick is called gondola skip that we're about to do, and I actually just found this setup for the second launch today. I don't even do this in my PB because I could never really get it, but I finally found a setup that seems pretty good. We'll see how good it is in a second here when I go for it. I forget if you actually need to go back and hit that stuff if you do this. Okay, I am dead, so I am gonna have to do that again, but that's okay.
That means you have to do garage skip as well, right?
No, so we did hit a checkpoint after garage skip, so we're good. We don't have to do the whole thing again. I am gonna go back and hit this just to be safe, because I think we do still have to do this. I do need to double check that though, now that I'm thinking about it, because I usually don't do gondola skip. If you do gondola skip, you might not have to hit that trigger, actually, now that I think about it. But better safe than sorry. And honestly, if it doesn't end up working out, we always could take the gondola. But I'm gonna give this a few tries because it's been fairly consistent for me, and it skips a pretty long auto scroller, which, you know, I would rather not play. I'm sure most of you would rather not. Oh, I got launched down here. Okay, I'm gonna try that again. So kind of like cabin skip, this is 2 zips. So if you miss either of them, you do have to do it again, which is fine. Yeah, you do have to hit a trigger there. Now that I think about it, you really might not have to hit this one, but I'm just gonna do it for safety anyway, because otherwise, it is possible to get stuck in this level in some areas where you're just soft locked and you can't progress.
Definitely worth testing after stream.
Yeah, exactly. It's not too far out of the way either. And you know, worst case, we have console commands. We could just like no clip, but we don't want to do that. You know, we want to avoid that. So we're gonna try to do it legit here. Okay. I also landed in a weird spot here, but I can just jump down. That's fine. There we go. Okay, let's try this again here. So if you see me re-aiming here, that's because your crosshair actually moves around a little bit while you're aiming. This looks good. Nice. Okay, we got it.
Nice.
So this is the area where the enemies are usually at when they're fighting you on the gondola. But if we get up here instead, we can drop out of bounds, do a little crouch punch under that beam, and there we go.
GG. Very nice.
Very nice. I'm really glad I worked that out because, like I said, I don't even go for it in my PB at the moment. I probably will now with that setup, but I could not find a setup or get one down that other people had found that actually worked for me. It was just so inconsistent. So even though it took us a few tries, I did find that this afternoon, that particular setup, and it already seems way better. So hopefully we'll start seeing that in some more runs at some point.
Yeah, I might try that in like an IL tomorrow or something.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I found a couple versions, but that one there is a little bit better. So that one we did at 90 FPS. There's a 30 FPS weapon wheel launch you can also do that's kind of similar. I think without the weapon wheel it's easier. A lot of times the ones without the weapon wheel I think are a little bit more consistent because you're removing a whole variable there of the timing of that. It's gonna look very scary here, but it's fine. Don't worry about it. All right, we're good. Similar thing coming up here. It's gonna look pretty scary, but as long as we just keep swimming here, we'll be totally fine. I say that I'm gonna get eaten somehow. I'm gonna jinx myself. All right. Well, we made it past all the hard tricks for this chapter. Well, again, there are some that are possible, but those are all the ones I've been able to work out. Consistently, at least up to this point. So we're just gonna wait for this to start beeping, wait a split second, shoot this, jump in, and we should be good. Probably could have gone a little earlier, but I just wanted to play it a little safe, and we should be able to get through here. All right, we'll pull out this for some enemies coming up. So we did see Kidman in a cutscene there. We're trying to meet up with her. But before she will enter the room, we do have to take out these enemies. It's a little hard to see with the screen shaking like that. That's fine. Let's do just one of these. There we go. Cool. Yeah, I would usually use an explosive bolt for that, but since I got hit by the first one, that's a little bit better there.
If you hadn't come along.
All right, so even though it looks like we should be able to just run away here, can't move. We have to kind of go through the scripted sequence where we run over here. And then we are immediately going to not help Kidman shoot these enemies, and we're just going to run to the next area. And once we hit the next cutscene trigger, well, I guess we still have control, but I guess next walk and talk sequence here,
So glad you're all right.
we'll just catch up and we'll start talking here. So you actually don't have to
Yeah,
take care of those enemies there.
He's in bad shape, or at least he was when I last saw him.
What about the boy from the hospital? Leslie.
I found him in a cage. He freaked and ran, though.
All right, so we're through a good chunk of this level already. We only really have the factory here coming up.
Have you been having any headaches?
The mannequin factory, I guess. I don't know what I don't know what this factory is even really supposed to be. It doesn't really need to make sense, I guess. Again, there's a lot of like dream world kind of things going on here.
You're in a simulation. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter. Yeah, it's all for the imagery, you know. All right, so yeah, we just gotta wait in this room a little bit for Leslie actually to unlock the door from us, or door for us. The whole time we're basically trying to catch up to him.
Did you shoot me?
He's obviously gonna run away after this because it couldn't be that easy.
I'm sorry, but you're tainted now. You might try to stop me through you.
Wait, what are you talking
All right,
about?
let's look through our bolts here while we can. I think we have enough for the rest of the run where we don't need to craft any. But we'll see. I do only have one incendiary bolt left, but I don't think we actually need any.
Get it open. Get it open. Get it
But
open.
even then, yeah, I think we'll be fine. It's always fine if we can craft them, but ideally you want to try, if you're gonna craft some, you want to do as many as possible in one go, so you're not constantly opening up the weapon wheel to do it. Because again, the weapon wheel also slows down time, so it does
Tired of playing games.
it does take a little bit to actually open and close. It's not instant or anything. So obviously, in the mannequin factory, there's flammable gas everywhere. So the main gimmick of this area is that if you fire a weapon at all, you die. It literally just cuts outside and you see the building explode. Like you're just instantly in a cutscene and then you're dead.
Makes sense to me.
Yeah. So it's gonna look a little scary because I am pulling out my gun here. I still want to free aim to manage my stamina a little easier. So I am still going to click once to aim. If I were to click again, I would just explode. So you gotta be a little bit careful about that. But we are all good. Oh, I guess I'm picking up those matches. That's fine. They put them right next to the thing, so it's kind of hard to hit the key card without grabbing those as well.
Yeah, we don't even... Yeah, there's no matches that are used at any point during the run, right? Because you would just use incendiary bolts.
Yeah, I think there's...
They're just not used in New Game Plus.
Yeah, I did use one in Chapter 3, but I think it actually... I don't know if it's faster. It might be a little bit, but yeah, you can also just shoot that one with a bolt as well. So yeah, you just don't even need matches.
Oh yeah, that's an interesting question. Does the crossbow blow up the gas? Probably.
You know, that is a good question. I'm going to just assume yes, because they don't want you to shoot,
never
but
tried.
I actually don't remember, yeah.
Rocker 26A may have come up with a strat.
I think you can melee as well too, so that shouldn't blow you up or anything. But
Yeah, you probably wouldn't want to use incendiary bolts, but
true.
frost bolts or
True.
something.
Yeah, I don't think the incendiaries would work
Thank
work
God
super
you're all
well.
right.
Yeah.
Now we have the bus.
The bus, yeah, the ride. So this level's mostly an auto scroller. There is a skip we're gonna go for at the end, but the first part is mostly auto scroller. We're gonna do a little bit of damage to this guy, so that he spawns in an enemy. Once he spawns in this worm and we kill it, that's how this part progresses.
And it's not at all disgusting.
Definitely not at all. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, and this next section coming up really is a true auto scroller, because even though there's lots of enemies that show up, killing them does not speed up the section. You know, it's not based on how fast you kill them. It just takes the same amount of time. So we are gonna kill them, and then we're just gonna have to chill for a little bit. I'm just glad
I think
that this run comes towards the end of the run, or this level comes towards the end of the run, so you don't have to do this before all the big, you know, reset points.
Yeah. And unfortunately, I think there's like probably 1,000,001 priority triggers that you have to hit for like the next area to load. So chances of skips in this level are pretty low.
Yeah,
I wouldn't say 0%, but
I think you can get off the bus, but yeah, I think you have to hit, again, you know, lots of things you have to do for it to progress properly.
Oh, we have a moment. You guys mind if I plug something?
Go for it.
of course.
Yeah, so in general, for the GDQ Hotfix shows in the medium support between the AGDQ and SGQ events, any subs, Prime Gaming, and all that supports GDQ during the interim. So consider supporting the channel if you've been enjoying it.
All right, so again, we don't have to kill these guys super fast. We can do it pretty much however we want. I have plenty of pistol ammo, so we could use that quite a bit. I'm gonna try to use more of the sniper ammo for a bit too, just in case, because we don't need it for too much else for the rest of the run, if at all. Actually, I can't remember off the top of my head. Again, this is a part where, you know, New Game Akumu, this would actually be pretty scary, but for New Game Plus, it's not too bad. Again, not really the focus of this particular route. Although I am glad there's still some combat. You know, with how broken the zips are, it's cool that we get a nice balance of that plus more of the, you know, the normal gameplay as well. Because this game does have pretty fun combat. But yeah, so after this part, once we kill all the enemies, there'll be another one that shows up over there, and we just have to wait for Joseph to shoot that one, and then that will play, you know, the next cutscene and stuff that'll get us to progress. We'll fight that big monster again, and then we'll be in the actual section that's not auto-scroller for this for this level. And yeah, there is one zip we're gonna go for. It's not a massive time save, but it is right before a checkpoint, and it's pretty cool. So, you know, it's not too punishing if we mess it up. We could attempt it a few times pretty fast. I think that's all of them. We'll see it once we're moving again, but there's some kind of glitchy stuff that happens running into this wall here while the bus is moving. You don't clip out or anything, but you'll see what I mean. I'll try to do it a little bit once we get moving here.
Leave these ones to me.
Yeah, we had an interesting question in chat, actually. There are some version differences between like platforms on PC or console as well, but in particular, so yeah, it was mentioned that the Epic Game Store and the Game Pass versions are on newer versions of the game. There's not that many differences. It's mainly stamina has been nerfed, I believe. There's probably a couple other changes. So go ahead.
I think it's the opposite, actually. I think Game Pass has more stamina.
Oh, that's good.
So technically, Game Pass, unless there's other things that are patched, I think Game Pass is a little faster, just because you get slightly more stamina. True. There is a separate Game Pass leaderboard as well if anybody's wants to play on that version and that version of the game. So you got some options, of course. Yeah, here's
Shark is currently playing on Steam.
That's right. Yeah, we got this boss again. Same deal as before. We do enough damage to him, get him to spawn the worm things here. Killing those helps us progress. I like how you don't rotate with the bus. It always looks funny to me.
I've never looked at my feet during that.
Waiting for one more of these. Nice. See if I get anything weird to happen here. I've had it like push me around a little bit. Oh yeah, like that. It's very funny. Gotta pick up that gel, you know. Yeah, so obviously the gel is super important in New Game for getting upgrades. We don't really need it here. So here, Joseph is about to get shot. Spoilers. Oh, there he is. Okay. So we need to get first aid for him in an ambulance, which is extremely fortunate for us because there's an ambulance right here.
Some kind of first aid.
So we're gonna try to dodge some enemies.
Like
and
5
then,
seconds down the road.
Yeah, it's actually super lucky that that's there. Small little, I guess, skip if you want to call it that. We're gonna actually climb up onto this instead of going under the bus. Saves a little bit of time. Try not to get owned by these enemies. Crouch briefly to prevent that from exploding. Dodge the bear traps. Nice.
So you're gonna go for the ambulance up here, right?
Yeah. I'm gonna do the...
This one has like a million different setups, and I don't know. None of them were ever consistent enough for me.
Yeah, the... It might have been one that you posted. The 30 FPS one is the one I'm gonna try. It's been the most consistent.
Yeah.
All right, so let's give
That
this a
sounds
shot. Not quite. Want a little more height than that. That's pretty good. Nice. So this actually, yeah, that happened to me a lot. The 30 FPS definitely helps a lot. I think though, making that happen a little less often there. Again, it's all based on the weapon wheel timing too. Like on that one, I try to open it pretty late. If you open it early, it captures more speed. Time slowed down more while you're still on the ground, so you get more speed basically. But that actually also skips a big truck from coming up with a machine gun on it that you have to dodge as well. And normally it actually blocks the path under the bus. But even then, you can still do the same trick we did to climb over the front of the bus. You could skip it regardless, but the zip we did skips a cutscene there. And also avoids possibly getting shot and knocked down. If you get hit by the machine gun, you fall all the way down to the ground. You just have to stand back up pretty slowly. All right, well, we're finally out of the ride here as soon as we hit Ruvik, who is going to be right there. All right, and that's chapter 12. We're done with the auto scroller stuff. So we got three more
Nice.
chapters here. This one has a pretty cool skip as well. I want to say, Meta, you actually found an out of bounds somewhere at the beginning here, right? But then immediately, there's like some trigger also right at the start you have to hit too, right? I want to say.
Yep. God, I don't know.
It's the acid trap, right?
But yeah, it's... Yes, it's the acid trap. I was thinking about the elevator, but yeah, like you can get right to the elevator shaft, but you skip important triggers and it's just not doable.
Yeah.
Which is really sad. I think the other lead that I was looking at is you can zip onto like the roof. Oh yeah, but no, because again you need to... Right, okay, I'm remembering this as you're walking back. Okay, so I think my last plan was to disarm this, which is the trigger that you need to hit, and then like zip back to the first room, and then you can zip out of bounds from there.
Yeah.
But then also I think you need to hit this cutscene anyways, so
Cause this much
there's
Yeah.
so many triggers that you need to hit. It's like
Yeah,
you can't really do much.
in some levels, like earlier chapter 6, you know, with cabin skip and some of the other ones, it actually kind of works out because it lets you do a lot more cool zips and stuff.
Let's just concentrate on getting
But yeah, there's some levels like this where it gets a little bit more annoying, where it does restrict you a little bit more than you might like. But like I said, there is still at least one out of bounds we're gonna do here in this chapter. Again, gonna spam crouch here. When you have that specific movement where you can't, you know, sprint,
Don't risk it.
kind of like the very beginning of the game, it's a bit faster just to spam crouch as fast as possible.
I think I see another way down. I'll meet you on a lower level.
All right, gonna do some crouch punches here to get in the vents a little faster, just like that.
Damn it. First Kidman, now.
Get my bolts set up because we're gonna need a couple here. So there's some enemies called keepers here. You're supposed to see them in chapter 7. Usually, we only really briefly saw one, and we skipped the whole section where you're normally supposed to fight some. But there's one right there. Nice dude, I'm sure. But we're gonna try to avoid him as much as possible here.
Real stand-up guy.
Yeah. Also a bunch of enemies with some acid traps here. We do need to disarm one of them. So I'm gonna put a bolt here as a trap. And then, can you not do that? Okay. Okay, he's stunned, okay. So that actually kind of worked out. I've had him show up after throwing the stun bolt, and he was not stunned. And it's possible that he can catch up to you there, but fortunately we didn't have to worry about that there. All right, so on harder difficulties, we would need to freeze bolt the keeper here, I'm pretty sure, but on casual, you have just enough time. So it's gonna look very scary, but we should be okay.
He's very slow to stand up and to walk, and
Yeah,
he decides to throw a mine at you instead of using his axe.
yeah. So it gives us just enough time to get away there. Okay. So here comes the skip. It's called Safe Haven skip. Safe Haven's the area, you know, where you go back and that hospital-looking area and you upgrade and stuff. So we're gonna skip a visit there by doing a zip out of bounds. You could have guessed it, just like that. I'm gonna queue up an explosive bolt here as we do that. We do need an explosive to get back inbound, so we're gonna set that up right here, and hopefully that should work. That looks good. Nice.
Nice.
So that gets us back in. Now, we are gonna want to reload a checkpoint in a little bit here to kind of fix the way the level's loaded. It's gonna look a little bit weird. Some things aren't gonna be loaded properly here.
Joseph?
So you'll see that gel just kind of floating in midair, for example. This room is just completely empty. It'll actually fill back in after this, but we're just gonna reload to make sure everything's working properly. We can see Joseph running there.
Yeah, what it was, but do you remember, like, I had, like, an even weirder, like, deload state?
Oh yeah, was it like you got like a hard lock here, didn't you? Or was it just a soft lock?
Yeah, I don't remember enough about it. There's a Twitch clip somewhere.
I'm not sure. There might have been some other trigger you hit while out of bounds. I don't know if there's like a way to dodge it or not, but it's possible. All right, so now we're gonna try to avoid these Roombas of death here. Hopefully they shouldn't be too much of a problem. But I believe they are a little bit random, so this one, okay. Oh, that was close. Okay. All good though. I'm pretty sure if those touch you at all, it interrupts the whole thing and you got to do it again. So that was just a little spooky there. All right, so we do want to get in there as well, the place Joseph just went. So just gonna blast this guy once, and then get in here. All right, and then we're kind of just chilling on this dark screen here for a little bit. Yeah, but this is pretty much the end of the chapter. We're just gonna run down a hallway and that's it. And then we're off to the last 2 chapters. We got a couple other big skips coming up, mostly in the last level here. So chapter 14 coming up actually does have a couple zips you can do. I know you've probably heard this already at this point in this run, but you know, we're not going to be doing those just yet. There's some other smaller tricks and glitches we're going to do, but you know, it's a long game. It's a kind of a process working out consistent setups for all these tricks and everything. But I'm sure we'll probably see some of them in single segment pretty soon. At least I hope so. That'd be cool. All right, so here's the end door right here. All right. So kind of a funny thing we're gonna do right at the beginning here after we run for a little bit. I could not figure this out for a little bit while I was derusting because I actually used to do a different strat, but I learned the faster way here. So you have to pull up a shutter door, but there's an explosive right next to you. And if you just try to open it, you get blown up. And I was watching other people were doing it and they were not getting blown up and I couldn't figure it out. And the reason is very silly. So if you hold crouch, the bombs don't go off, right? You know, if you sneak past them, that's the whole thing. You can sneak up to them and disarm them. So if you hold crouch while you're in the animation of opening the shutter, it also does not blow you up. But you have to do that. If you don't hold crouch, you will get blown up. But if you just hold crouch a little bit, it just doesn't do it. Even though you're
That's
not
a funny oversight.
even though you're not actually crouching. So if you ever want to try this at home, you do have to hold crouch here. You can't just run up to it like this. So you'll notice the beeping stops. I'm holding crouch. It starts. I'm not holding it. I'm holding it.
Wait, it changes your camera too. Did you notice that?
Yeah, it like moves a little bit, so you can see like when I'm holding it or not.
Oh, that's really interesting.
Which is very funny. Yeah, I can do it here too.
We got to dig more into that. That's buggy.
It is.
It
is.
interests me.
Yeah, it is pretty funny.
That piques my interest when something's buggy like that.
Yeah, I'm not sure if there's any other exploits for something like that, but that would be pretty funny.
Yeah, I can't immediately think of something because it's just the camera, it's not like the player. But
the game sort of does think you're crouching though, which is interesting. Yeah, or at least the bomb does, which is the important thing there. They're using some more free aim to move in water. We're going to see that more in this level 2. Got to run far enough.
You can skip
forward.
most of this subway tunnel with a zip as well, but again, very difficult.
Yeah, honestly, I haven't really tried that one that much, especially just because it's so late in the run. Yeah,
it's another one of those things where the ceiling is there's no collision for it, which that's great, like because you can get out of bounds and stuff. But that means you can fly right into the void. Yeah,
I remember I thought about learning it, and I asked Omolf, like, how hard is this one? And he just said something like, yeah, it's really hard. Like, don't do it. And I was like, okay, fair enough. But hey, like I said, even with stuff like Gondola Skip, that setup I found, that's the first time I've ever been able to somewhat consistently do that trick ever. So, it might just be a matter of finding the right setup or a different launch spot or whatever. You have a lot of options with where you can zip from. Guy's just gonna despawn here because we're going pretty fast here. The free aim glitch, which always looks pretty funny.
There will come a day where you use the left joystick on your controller and your mouse, and you cap at 43.5 FPS to get the exact amount of height that you need. But today is not that day.
Oh yeah, so we're gonna do a pretty crazy reload glitch here. So I'm gonna shoot, reload, and just mash interact as fast as possible. And we're gonna, okay, I didn't quite get the full thing, but I got most of it there. I'll see if I can do it a little better on the second one there. Also, I just boosted on that bottle there. It gives you a little bit of height, so you can climb over that fence there. You're not really supposed to be able to do that usually. Yeah, so we got another valve coming up. I think I just didn't get enough inputs in there. You gotta mash pretty fast. That beeping stops. That beeping goes on for forever there. Okay, I need, oops. Keep going past it. There we go. So we have an upgrade for the standard, just regular harpoon bolt there. Upgraded all the way. It actually does flame damage as well, which is really nice because normally you gotta burn that with like a match. Probably what you would do in New Game. it's not really worth wasting you know, like an incendiary bolt or something, I think. All right, so yeah, we're gonna try to do another reload glitch here. We'll see if we can get this one a little bit better. And just in case, I'm also gonna throw down a shock bolt as well to prevent them from, well, hitting me while I try to do this. Because normally you're really supposed to kill all of them first. Okay, pretty close. We almost got the full thing. If you mash fast enough, you can complete it basically instantly. But that was still pretty good. All right, so we're gonna shoot a flash bolt here so an enemy up above doesn't grab us. Got a freeze bolt there. All right, so we're gonna do another small little puzzle here, and then a boss fight. Shit. So we just gotta put this into place. You know, not too crazy or anything, but.
What am I, an electrician?
Yeah, we're gonna be an electrician for a little bit here.
That's a classic line.
All right, so this is Quell. So the fastest way to take this boss out is we're gonna use the freeze bolt to lock it in place, and then just do 3 magnum shots to the face, and that should kill him. I'm gonna switch over to my bolts here. And dead. There we go. Nice.
Beautiful.
All right. Now we can finish being an electrician, and then we can take the lift here. Do I have one more freeze bolt? Oh, I have more actually. Nice. Okay. We only need one more for the rest of the run coming up here, but that works out. So earlier with the Laura section, if you saw that part, I used a freeze bolt to interrupt a stun animation. So I'm going to try to do the same thing here if possible. There's a part where some things fall down, he kind of steps back and he's standing in place for a few seconds and you can't move. So we want to throw the freeze bolt down, start that animation, and then get hit by the freeze bolt, and then that will interrupt it, and then we can move a little bit sooner. So if we get the timing right, we should be able to get that. Gonna wait for that to fall down. Use some punches here. Try to set up our freeze bolt trick. Nice.
Forgot about that. Yeah. Oh, that's so awesome.
It's a very satisfying. Like it probably only saves a second or two, but it's like super satisfying to hit. All right, so yeah, we're just gonna chase, well, not really chase, I guess just run away. Here, we get teleported back. This might look very familiar. It's gonna be a room pretty similar, almost identical to a room we did back in chapter 5, except with a different cutscene here. Different interaction with the characters.
My research in your name again. Did you
So I don't really need it, but you know, we gotta wait for this anyway, so I'm just gonna pick up this ammo.
No credentials. You'd never appear in a reputable journal otherwise.
Yeah, so we just get some more lore here. We haven't really seen the doctor too much. He is dead at this point.
I have surpassed you.
Obviously this is a flashback, but yeah, we skipped the part where he died.
I have what I need.
He's trying, the doctor's trying to take over here, and they're gonna remove I'm pretty sure this is the part where they're gonna remove his brain to use it for STEM, which doesn't really work out for them super well.
You wouldn't dare. You couldn't complete it without me.
Precisely.
But yeah, we just gotta wait for that, and then once we gain control and we can pull out our weapons again, we're gonna set up a shock bolt. Same thing as before in chapter 5. There's gonna be 3 enemies that jump out. We're just gonna try to knock them down, pull out the plugs, and then that's gonna send us into the last level.
Trying to make me feel sorry for you?
All right, so here we go. Do I have? Oh, I have some. Okay, nice. And again, same as before, we're gonna crouch because you can grab these. The range is a little bit longer while you're crouching. But you see me kind of snap to that guy there. Nice.
Yeah, I think without crouching, and like if you had to walk between them, you wouldn't be able to get all 4 in one cycle. Or 3?
Yeah, 3. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure if you could get all of them at once. Sometimes you don't get all 3. Sometimes the third guy kind of is just like still walking around, but you can just shoot him to knock him down as well.
All right.
All right, chapter
Last
15.
chapter.
Yeah. So we do have a couple more skips to get through, and the final boss. A little bit of running before that. I am gonna grab a safety checkpoint before the first trick. Not because it's super hard. It's just it actually is kind of like cabin skip, where if you miss it, you lose about 3 minutes. And I'd rather not do that on the off chance that it decides not to work. So
I'd rather not do that again.
yeah, exactly.
Nobody here at all?
Nice. So we purposely don't walk super far into that room, because if you go too far and then try to do this, the door actually closes on you and you gotta wait a decent amount there. I actually learned that pretty recently. I was always going like way further down and turning around, but that actually saves quite a lot of time. All right, but yeah, so we're just following Leslie for a little bit here. Kind of going back to the beginning of the game, so to speak, or at least the first level. Like Meta mentioned all the way back in chapter 1, there was a locked gate where we're going to revisit that here, and it's going to lead to the end of the game. But, you know, I'm pretty sure it's not all the same map files and anything. You can't actually, you know, just go there. It wouldn't be loaded anyway, so yeah, you can't just skip from chapter 1 to 15, although that would be pretty fast.
I can confirm, checking in the console, that it is not the same map file.
All right, kid, where are you?
Unfortunate. I'd love to find a bigger skip in chapter 1 as well.
Neat,
Yeah, I seem to remember we looked in chapter 1, or well, I didn't look, but you guys were looking with the console. And
I spent probably a couple hours. Yeah.
Yeah.
I spent a lot more time labbing this game than I did running. I think I put like between 2 or 3 hours into like each chapter.
Yeah. Well, hey, we might find. It's always good to have new eyes on a game, you know. I see it a lot, especially with a lot of small communities. For example, just even to the past couple days, and actually on one of the previous episodes of this show, Still Wakes the Deep, right? So, you know, me and a few of the other glitch hunters, it kind of feels like we hit a wall, you know, like the well is dry sort of thing, where it's like there's nothing else. Like it feels like there's nothing else to find. Obviously, there probably is, but you know, we just don't know where to look. And there's a couple new people that have been like posting stuff, actually finding some new skips and stuff, or some things that, you know, we'd overlooked. So it's always good to have an extra set of eyes. People, you know, look for different things, and you're more likely to find things with more people looking. So
come help us break the game.
Exactly. Yeah, a bigger skip on chapter 1 would be fantastic.
I think you can zip up these rocks too, but it's like kind of weird. Like doing zips up is weird. Like up at like an angle like this.
Yeah, I seem to remember Segmented might do that.
Yeah, there's I think 2 zips in that like walking section.
I forget if you have to. Do you have to do the teleports there, or can you just launch up? I'm not even sure.
Yes, I think so.
Okay.
I know there's some triggers for sure. Or, I don't know, maybe just one, but there's something.
Oh yes. Well, speaking of which, actually that area. So yeah, again, the reason I'm gonna grab a safety checkpoint before this first zip is it's actually not even that bad. Well, honestly, we probably will get it first try, but if we did mess up somehow, we'd go all the way back to that section we were just teleporting around with Leslie, and it's about a 3-minute run back or so. So we want to try to avoid that if possible. And again, just like the rest of the run, you know, using some free aim to help manage your stamina a little bit. As we make our way to the very end. But I'll go ahead and talk about the last two skips a little bit before we get there, because it'll hopefully go by pretty fast once we start doing them. But the first one, we're going to do it on the side of a curb and try to get us on top of a hallway, and it's going to skip a section of this hallway where, you know, honestly, I actually you forget entirely what you do, but you do have to wait around for a little bit. There might be a cutscene as well. And then there's Gauntlet Skip. There's this huge, like, bloody flesh arena where you have to kill a bunch of enemies. And we're going to try to skip all of them, or at least almost all of them. There's a couple places you can land. If you land about halfway through the arena, you could just kill the last 4 enemies really quickly, and then, you know, get to the end. But the big thing is we want to get over the first big wall to skip the first part where there's like a bunch of enemies. Okay, so the zip is going to be right here on our left, but the checkpoint I was talking about is going to be right through these doors. So I'm just going to grab that real quick. Right there, nice.
I remember that you can get all kinds of like strange deload states in this level as well.
There we go, nice.
Beautiful.
Yeah, that one is usually pretty easy, but again, it's better safe than sorry. Another explosive to get back in bounds, just like, wow, wow, I have never seen that. Good thing I grabbed that checkpoint, right? Wow.
Yeah, good thing.
That's crazy. You know. Wow. That's awesome. Wow, yeah.
Frankly.
That is insane, dude. Okay, let's do that again.
I love how you can see out of bounds at like the crack in the pavement or something there.
Yeah, a bunch of those like
notice that, but
yeah, they just like don't cover up the whole thing. It's pretty funny. There we go. All right, well, new fear unlocked, I suppose. But hey, we made it. Okay, so this is the gauntlet now. So that door up there with the spikes, we want to at least get over that wall. If we can make it up to the big mansion area, that would be ideal. We ideally do not want to get launched into the void, because then we'll have to reload the checkpoint here.
Yeah.
If I don't get this within like 1, maybe 2 tries, we gotta wait for a small cutscene to play out. Because if it plays midair, it kind of messes with your height. It's a bit weird. Okay, yeah, I'm just gonna set it back up again and then just wait a second here. Yeah, I think it halts your momentum midair, or it might do something else weird, I forget, but you don't want it to happen while you're trying to do this.
Alternatively, I have an idea. Maybe you should test this later. If you do a 120 FPS zip at the right time, assuming you get it, if it stops you in the air, it could drop you onto the mansion.
Maybe. Oh, there we go. This could be really,
that's pretty high.
This could be really fast, actually, if we land on the roof. Oh, we slipped off.
No,
Close.
dude.
So that's actually pretty good if you do land there, because you could just backtrack very slightly and drop off, and then that skips the whole room. But yeah, a lot of times I've noticed you land there, you do slip off pretty easily because you land like right on the edge.
Yeah, it's like Sebastian
There we
even
go.
like caught his foot a little bit.
Ooh, wow, I rebounded just like
That's-
not out of bounds, which is great because I don't want to be out of bounds here. Nice. Okay, that was
works.
That
We
we
take
take
those.
those. Yeah, that was really nice. Okay, that's what's supposed to happen.
Calculated.
And fortunately, we got the faster version too, so we didn't have to kill those other enemies there. So that's nice. All right. Okay, this climb up is always really weird. All right. So now we have 2 more keepers to fight. They really don't stand a chance against the Magnum. Unfortunately for them. They do have a little bit more health than the other one earlier, so it is 2 shots. But we have plenty of ammo still, especially because I picked up that extra Magnum drop earlier. All right, so now for the eyeball maze here.
Oh God.
Not to bring back bad memories for meta here. Yeah.
So, in the most in my last stint of running this game, I stopped because I had a PB that was 20 minutes ahead, And I got here and I was like, oh, I'm gonna try doing this new zip that I found. And I did it. I did the zip, but I then managed to hit triggers out of order, and also hit a checkpoint, which totally hardlocked me. So 3 hours or like 2 hours and 40 minutes into the run or something like that, just completely dead. Could not continue.
Yeah, it's one of
That
those
was,
now you know kind of things, but yeah, it's really, really unfortunate.
That was really heartbreaking. But you know what? I do kind of want to. You're inspiring me to come back a little bit. Maybe not for running. I don't know if I'm quite ready for that yet. But I do want to lab this again because I know that you can. I think we could get a nice little zip to skip some of this maze here, if not all of it.
Yeah, I think that's a good place to start. Yeah,
this. You have to start this. I know that. Oh, that's not good.
Would you believe I've also not had that happen to me before? But that's okay. I think the checkpoint is right on that part, so I think we're good. Yeah, okay. It's the classic, you know, get all the hard stuff and then die to the easy stuff sort of thing. Because the strat here basically is just hold down left. Yeah, I don't know. You just like barely slipped in there. That's all right though. Okay, we're good. You know, I actually with cheats, I was testing going through this area. I was trying to make like a practice save. I think the trigger above the elevator here is loaded, so that could be an option maybe. I don't know if you can zip all the way up there, but that would be pretty cool to skip this elevator.
I know it's kind of like encased in that brick wall. Like I remember zipping up and hitting the brick wall. It's also really, really tall.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe if you could clip, like if you could get onto the top of it somehow and then like bolt clip down into it. I don't know. Yeah.
Oh, like yeah, like land on the, yeah. Hey, yeah. I mean, that probably would still be faster.
Yeah, this ride's pretty slow.
Yeah. There we go. So we're...
Yeah, I don't know, though. That shaft is ridiculously tall.
Yeah. Well, I mean, hey, we can jump really high, so there is that, I guess. So we're just about in the final boss here. We just gotta skip these one or so cutscenes. So a few different sections of the boss fight. The first one, we can't actually damage him. We just have to avoid dying. And it's all one-hit kills, though fortunately they're pretty easy to avoid if you know what to do. All right, looks like we're doing pretty good on time here too. Which is always nice. Yeah, honestly, I think this has been pretty solid. We almost had cabin skip first try too. That would have been really nice. But yeah, again, that's
even still, Shark, you're gonna come in just a tad underestimated.
Yeah, and I mean that time was built into the estimate for sure, just in case it decided to go wrong. But yeah, very, very glad we didn't have to load any like, you know, backup saves or anything like that. So you love to see it. Yeah, so here we're dodging the boss, like I said, and then shortly we're going to be entering the phase where we actually can do some damage. Right about here. So the first part, we're gonna have a machine gun, and we just gotta deal enough damage to his head. Pretty simple. Second part also fairly simple, but we're gonna try to go for a strat that is gonna kill him in one hit. It's a little tricky, so you know, no guarantee we get it, but I'm gonna try it. But yeah, like I said, first we're just gonna take out the head here. Almost had him. You can do it without shooting the hand too, but let me just make sure we don't die. Yeah, we almost had him. Okay, nice. Okay. So Sebastian gets flung here. You know, I'm sure most. Well, I don't know. I think a lot of people probably just assumed he was dead here. I mean, which is pretty reasonable. I mean, look at this. I appreciate the spectacle of it though.
This is such a like wild ending for like at the end of a horror game, a survival horror game, and you have this.
You gotta
It's
admit,
ridiculous. I love it.
it is pretty awesome though.
It's so awesome.
Yeah. So if we shoot the rocket at just the right timing and position, it'll actually snipe him in the head here. Maybe.
I've never been able to get that.
Ah, okay, that's fine. That was really close.
Oh, did you miss it?
It was
okay.
very close. Yeah. Okay, so now we just the best thing to do now is to hit him a couple times to stun him, and then actually line up the shot a little bit easier here. Just like that. Looks pretty good. Got him. Nice. Okay. All right. One more section of the boss here. We just got to shoot Ruvik himself with a pistol. We're still fine, by the way. Don't worry about it. But yeah, we're just going to line that up real quick. And then that is pretty much the run. So I know we already did a few shout-outs, but shout-outs to the whole speedrun community for this game, making this route even possible in the first place. And again, if you're interested in checking out this run, trying some of the skips, or learning the run, can definitely recommend it. I'm just excited to see where this category goes in the future. And I'm sure there's lots more, skips to be found, setups to be made to, make some of these things more consistent and whatnot. But hopefully this gave you a good idea of what the route is shaping up to be, and what the community's been working on. So there's a few. I mentioned there's a few different leaderboards, timing methods we got within the community. So there's a few different places to end time. I suppose we can go with the brain here. I think that makes sense.
Yeah, I think that's the best one.
Yeah.
I created this world.
The in-game timer runs for a little bit longer during a cutscene, but this is basically the last input with Sebastian, so we'll just go with that for here. I think that's I think that'll be good here. So we're gonna interact with this. He's gonna move over and throw it on the ground, and then once we interact to stop with it, that's gonna be times. That's coming up in like 5-ish seconds here, or less. And time.
Nice.
All right,
GG.
that is the Evil Within NG Plus. So we pretty much did our shout-outs. I guess last thing I'll say is thanks for having me. I've been grinding this game quite a bit. I will probably be doing some more attempts, hopefully, when I return to the streaming and stuff. So if you want to check it out, that's what I'll be doing. As well as possibly some other horror games and stuff. But getting back into this has also motivated me to keep, grinding and stuff. So I think I'm going to possibly continue to do that. But yeah, again, and like I said a bunch throughout this run, definitely go check out Wolf's segmented speedrun of this category on YouTube and check it out. That's all I got.
Good stuff. Well, we can see a little bit here. I know we have some ending stuff. I don't mind letting that roll for, we have the credits now, I think. But first, let's see that IGT just for fun, I guess.
Yeah, sure.
Sure, why not? I am curious. 215. Oh, it's a little off because of the reloads. That's why.
Oh, true. Yeah, so the IGT does roll back if you reload checkpoints. It rolls back to the time you had. So we kind of alluded to it a little bit, but there's an IGT board and a LRT, like load remove time board. So I did more of the LRT route where we are able to reload checkpoints. You can still do the same skips. You just gotta you have to have Sebastian die to reload instead. But yeah.
If I had to guess, that's likely a 222 IGT, which as of even just a couple of years ago would have been world record. So that shows kind of where we are now, like the progression of the route. So
for sure,
GG.
Thank you.
Run.
Yeah, and again, thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
I actually have a question for myself. I guess for anyone wanting to, to learn this or try this out. So, for all these tricks, do they require New Game Plus specifically, or is it just nice to have in general?
It's just nice to have, except for a couple specific ones.
You have to do Chapter 7 differently, I think.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
It would just be tweaks, really.
Yeah, because there are a couple where you need explosives to get back in bounds. So as long as you are able to craft those in New Game, you're fine. Specifically, the grenade skips I did in Chapter 5, those damage boosts, that's New Game Plus only just because you don't have 3 grenades by that point, but that's like a pretty small thing. Most of the zips still work fine on New Game. I personally picked up New Game Plus first just because it was a little bit easier to route, especially because there's some things where, so cabin skip's kind of a problem in New Game because the way we do it, it skips picking up the sniper rifle, which is really, really good to have in New Game. I believe there's a different out-of-bounds route you can do to still get the rifle, but you have to do the trick a little bit differently. I think that's one of the main differences, but otherwise most of the zips will still work just fine.
Yeah, and I mean, for anyone who's interested in world record grinding or anything like that, the New Game categories for both, if you're using IGT or if you're using LRT, like load removal, they do not have the most current route. So if you're interested in going for world records, there's your opportunity.
Yeah, I think we'll see a lot of optimization of this game going forward for sure.
Sounds good. Before we do head on off, I just want to mention thank you both once again for doing the run. And Sharkcat, if anyone did want to find you once again, where can they find you?
Well, you can find me here on Twitch at Sharkcat87. Like I said, I will be gone for a little bit, but in like a week or so, I'll be back to streaming, and I will probably be back with this game, probably this category as well. I've been grinding down my PB a bit, adding in more and more zips as I go. Some of the tricks you saw on this run, actually, I've been working on setups since I got my PB, so I'll be adding even more in then probably. But otherwise, I run lots of horror games and stuff usually anyway, so I'll be up to something like that when I come back.
Alrighty, that does sound good. I do want to thank you both once again, and for everyone else, thank you all for watching this episode of Speedruns from the Crypt. It's always fun to show you a variety of different games. This one was definitely a bit longer, so this was the only run we had for tonight. Before I do go, I do want to tell you a few things. One, if you want to keep up to date on any of the Hotfix stuff, I have a few resources for you. For one, we do have the GDQ Discord with a Hotfix role. If you want to keep up to date on any of our shows, you can use !Discord to find more information on that. As well, we have gamesdonequick.com/Hotfix for more info on all of our weekly shows and specials. And last but not least, if you missed any of these shows, we always have youtube.com/gamesdonequick where you can find all the VODs and really just any previous episode or GDQ run. Anyway, that being said, that is all I have for tonight. I have been your host, Dices. I plan a lot of the Speedruns from the Crypt episodes. I'm a big fan of horror, and I like showcasing you a lot of fun games. We'll be back in about 2 weeks with more, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of the day and or night. As well, if you did miss out on either Challenger Approaching or Speedruns from the Crypt, you can stay tuned as we're playing both shows after the break. Tune in this Friday as well for our next live show, starting at 7 p.m. Eastern. Alright, have a good rest of the day or night, and see you next time. Have a good rest of the day or night, and see you next time.